Chapter 2404. Trying to escape? Do you think you can escape? Xia Ping immediately sensed the thoughts of the three primordial demon sages. He immediately activated his space domain and sealed the void in all directions, suppressing the 8 desolates. This way, they would not be able to escape from his space domain. Bastard, you actually want to keep us here? Who do you think we, the demon sages, are? Do you think a small sage like you can stop us? This is a place where we can come and go as we please. The 3 demon sages had ferocious looks on their faces. They naturally sensed Xia Ping's space domain, but they were not afraid at all. Instead, they seemed to have expected it. With a swoosh, a transparent flower suddenly appeared in one of the demon sages' hands. It was the size of a palm, and the petals seemed to be flowing with dense nomological patterns, emitting an unfathomable aura. Be careful, this is the famous illusory sound flower of the universe. At this moment, the green ox's voice was heard. This illusory sound flower is a universe wonder, and it can only be used once. It is priceless, but once it is shattered, it will immediately turn the void within a radius of billions of miles into a real illusion. All living beings will fall into the illusion and will not be able to escape for a while. At the same time, this illusion seems to have reached the realm of turning nothing into reality. It can distort space-time, and even an invincible sage will not be able to escape for a while. What? Xia Ping's eyes narrowed when he heard this. He did not expect the 3 demon sages to have such a universe wonder. If he did not know, he would probably fall into the trap instantly. It was probably because they had such a backup plan that the 3 ancient demon saints had the guts to invade Thunder City. After all, with the illusory sound flower, they could easily escape even if they killed him. Although the illusory sound flower was extremely precious and could be said to be priceless, it was worth it as long as they could kill a human genius like him. Unfortunately, they had underestimated their own strength, which led to the failure of this mission. It was like drawing water with a wicker basket. Even so, they did not want to die in this place. As soon as he finished speaking, the demon sages immediately crushed the illusory sound flower. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the palm-sized transparent flower immediately shattered. With the body of the primordial demon sage as the center, the area within a radius of several hundred light-years fell into a mysterious illusion. Bursts of unique and mysterious sound waves were transmitted to the ears of every human in Thunder City. Be it the saints from the Middle Ages like the Purple Thunder Saint and the Rain Listener Saint, or the mortals in the Thunder Retribution realm, all of them fell into an illusion. They were in a trance and could not move. Moreover, it was not as simple as falling into an illusion. The area within a radius of several hundred light-years had been enveloped by a real illusion, and all the laws of space and time had changed. It was as though at this moment, this region had fallen into a state between reality and illusion, jumping out of the 3 realms. Even the universe virtual network had temporarily lost control of this region. It was as though this wave of energy could even cut off the universe virtual network's signal transmissions, turning Thunder City into an isolated island. Billions of mysterious nomological notes came from the void and reached the depths of Xia Ping's sea of consciousness. It was as if they wanted to pull him into an illusory world and make him lose himself. Nonetheless, at that instant, the world tree in the depths of his sea of consciousness burst out. Layers of green barriers appeared and isolated the illusory art's power, allowing him to remain clear-headed and not fall into the illusion. In the distance, the 3 Middle Ages demon sages seemed to be enveloped by a mysterious power. They formed a light sphere and turned into an independent space, unaffected by the illusory sound flower's power. Damn it, I didn't expect that not only would we not be able to kill Fengdu, we would also lose an important spy and a precious illusory sound flower. This is a precious life-saving treasure that can't be bought with money. One of the Middle Ages demon sages gritted his teeth. He was in great pain as though his flesh was being cut off. This illusory sound flower was given to them by the demon ancestor. Initially, they thought that this operation would be very successful. Perhaps they would not even need to use the illusory sound flower when escaping. They did not expect that not only did they use the illusory sound flower, but they also failed to kill their target. It could be said that this operation was a complete failure. What should we do? I reckon that Fengdu has fallen into an illusion and is unable to retaliate. Perhaps we can take the opportunity to kill him and escape. Another primordial demon saint suggested. No. Although the illusory soundflower's power is strange and powerful, and even ancient sages might not be able to resist it, its illusion power is extremely weak. If we act rashly, we will immediately break the illusion. In that case, we might not be able to kill Fengdu, and we will have to stay here forever. The remaining Middle Ages demon sage shook its head and rejected the suggestion. If using the illusory soundflower could kill that detestable Fengdu, it would have done so long ago. Although this one-time use illusory soundflower was extremely powerful and represented extreme illusory power and laws, it also had a fatal weakness. It could not last for long and could not be disturbed by external forces. This was considered a useless auxiliary treasure that could only be used when escaping. Even so, it made countless sages salivate. After all, at a critical moment, this item could save their lives. There was nothing more important than their lives. All right, then let's hurry and run. Although the three primordial demon sages were unwilling to accept that they could not kill the Fengdu sage, their lives were more important now that things had come to this. If the demon race lost another 3 primordial demon sages, their losses would be unimaginable. Don't run. Stay here. However, before they could move, Xia Ping's figure appeared in front of them in an instant. At the same time, a terrifying space domain enveloped them and permeated the void in all directions. It was as though all space had frozen at this moment. They immediately felt like their bodies had fallen into a swamp and could not move at all. Impossible. Why didn't you fall into an illusion? Could it be that the illusory soundflower has no effect on you? The 3 primordial demon sages were completely dumbfounded. This was because the illusory soundflower was a universe wonder. Even ancient sages would be affected, so how could a near-ancient sage break free from the power of the illusory soundflower? If they hadn't confirmed it over and over again, they would have thought that they'd been affected by the illusory soundflower and fallen into an illusion. This was truly too inconceivable, and it was simply even more shocking than when they saw Xia Ping blast a demon saint to death with a single punch. Chapter 2405. However, Xia Ping had no intention of explaining himself to the 3 primordial demon sages. He took out his hell treasure, the reincarnation brush. He infused all his power into it, completely activating the reincarnation brush's supreme power. Rumble! In an instant, 3 dark golden lights shot out from the depths of the reincarnation brush. They seemed to be formed from countless hell scriptures, containing the auras of massacre, destruction, hell, eternity, chaos, etc. This power locked onto the souls of the 3 demon sages. This was a skill that targeted the soul. With the illusion soundflower's concealment, even the universe virtual network couldn't detect his abnormality. Therefore, he could use all his trump cards without holding back. Damn, it's over. What kind of power is this? Time domain, time barrier, I'm invincible, heaven and earth reversal. The 3 primordial demon sages roared in anger. They sensed a fatal crisis. It was as if they had been targeted by a primordial god of the underworld. This destructive wave that targeted at the soul simply made their hair stand on end, and they were terrified. All of them operated the space-time domain in their bodies. In an instant, layers of space-time barriers appeared around their bodies. There were at least 18,000 layers of them. Even if a demon sage of the same level wanted to break through these time barrier, it would require tremendous effort. They were also very confident in their own defensive capabilities. Xiao xiao xiao. It was a pity that the 3 dark golden lights were the reincarnation power of the reincarnation brush. They also contained the power of cause and effect and soul power. They were beyond the time barrier. This was not something that the time barrier could block. In an instant, the 3 beams of dark golden light pierced through the space-time barrier on their bodies and reached the depths of their souls, penetrating them in an instant. Impossible, this is impossible. I'm a demon sage. How can I be killed by a near-ancient sage? Block it for me. A mere near-ancient sage can't kill me. This is impossible. The three demon sages screamed and struggled with all their might. They were extremely terrified. It was a pity that no matter how strong they were, whether they were in the early or middle stages, they still couldn't block the reincarnation power of the reincarnation brush. With a boom, the souls of the three ancient demon sages were torn apart by the reincarnation brush. Their bodies and souls were torn to shreds just like that. They couldn't help but let out shrill screams, but they quickly stopped. Then, in a loud thud, their massive carcasses collapsed to the ground, stirring up a cloud of dust. Blood dripped down from his forehead, almost covering the ground. The air was filled with a strong smell of blood. As expected of the reincarnation brush, one of the strongest weapons of slaughter in the world. It is invincible and nothing can stop the reincarnation brush. Once again, Xia Ping recognized the power of the reincarnation brush. Such a sharp force could simply reverse the universe, reverse yin and yang, and destroy time and space. Even the barrier of time and space created by the demon saint of the Middle Ages could not withstand it. Rumble, at that moment, due to the intense fluctuations of battle occurring in this place, it also affected the environment of the entire Thunder City, causing the power of the illusory sound flower to rapidly weaken before disappearing. All the Thunder City sages who were trapped in the illusion also struggled out of it. Their eyes were clear and they seemed to have regained their consciousness. What happened? Just now, I felt like I appeared in another world. It was incomparably real. Illusion. Just now, we were trapped in an incomparably real illusion. What kind of joke is this? What kind of power could make us instantly fall into an illusion? This affected the entire Thunder City. Could it be that the Patriarch made a move? No. It wasn't the Patriarch. If it really was him, we wouldn't have the power to break free from the illusion. If I'm not wrong, this should be the power of the illusory sound flower. What? It's the power of the illusory sound flower. No wonder it's so terrifying. Many sages finally regained their consciousness. They were also amazed. They didn't expect the legendary illusory sound flower to be so terrifying. It instantly caused all the sages in the Thunder City to fall into an illusion. No one could break free. Oh no, Sage Fengdu. Sage Fengdu couldn't have been killed by the three ancient demon sages, right? At this moment, the Purple Thunder Sage, the Rain Listener Sage, and the others' expressions changed drastically. They couldn't care less about what was happening and immediately flew towards the location of the incident. However, when they arrived, they were dumbfounded. This was because they found Xia Ping standing at the same spot unscathed. However, there were 4 huge corpses on the ground. Judging from the powerful aura and the power of laws emanating from these corpses, they were the 3 ancient demon sages and a near-ancient pinnacle sage. 3 ancient demon sages and a near-ancient sage joined forces to kill an immortal sage. The immortal sage didn't die, but these ancient demon sages died instead? Could it be that this was still an illusion? Sage Fengdu, may I ask who these are? The Purple Thunder Sage stepped forward and asked. These 3 are ancient demon sages. This one seems to be the Golden Horn Sage from the Longhorn race. They tried to join forces to kill me, but I killed them instead. This is nothing. It's just a very ordinary thing. Xia Ping explained the situation in a simple manner. Ordinary? Ordinary my ass. How does this look ordinary? The group of sages were so depressed that they wanted to vomit blood. Looking at how calm Sage Fengdu was, others who didn't know better would think that he was just killing a few ants. However, these were not ants. They were ancient demon sages who could be mentioned in the same breath as them. They were terrifying existences who had comprehended the space-time domain. These existences could suppress a region anywhere they were placed. They were definitely pillars of support. If they had died, it would have shaken the entire race and enraged their ancestors. However, they had died now. None of them had managed to escape and had died quietly in this place. Brother Fengdu, you've advanced to the near-ancient stage and comprehended the spatial laws? At this moment, the Rain Listener Sage sensed the faint aura of the space domain emanating from Xia Ping's body. It was emitting a terrifying pressure that made him feel like an ancient god. Even though he was a sage from the ancient demon sages, he actually felt inferior when facing Sage Fengdu. It was as if he was a lowly creature. The other sages were also shocked. The information they had received previously said that Sage Fengdu was only an immortal sage. However, he had advanced to the near ancient stage now. It was really unbelievable. That's right. I've advanced to the middle stage of the near ancient stage long ago and comprehended the spatial laws. That's why I could kill these 3 ancient demon sages. Since his strength had been seen through, Xia Ping didn't plan to continue hiding it. Chapter 2406. So that's how it is. He advanced to the near ancient realm and comprehended the law of space. That's why he was able to kill the middle ancient sages so easily. No wonder he's so strong. Bullshit, do you think we would think that? The purple thunder sage and the others gritted their teeth and their mouths twitched. Even if this kid wasn't an immortal sage but a near ancient sage, it was still unbelievable. Everyone in the world knew how terrifying the middle ancient sages were. They comprehended the law of time and controlled the law of space and time. No matter how strong the near ancient sages were, how could they be stronger than the middle ancient sages? The difference between them was like the difference between a rabbit and a lion. Killing a middle ancient sage as a near ancient sage was even more unbelievable than killing a near ancient sage as an immortal. This was because after the sage realm, the difference between the two would be greater. It would be harder to challenge someone of a higher level. As far as they could remember, there was not a single near ancient realm cultivator who could kill a middle ancient realm cultivator. However, such a thing happened right in front of them. Therefore, the purple thunder sage and the others were speechless and didn't know what to say. After a long time, the purple thunder sage finally said, "Sage Fengdu, I wonder what method you used to kill these ancient demon sages?" His tone was much more respectful than before. No matter what method Fengdu sage used, the fact that he could kill 3 middle ancient sage beasts meant that he was on equal footing with the purple thunder sage. After all, it was extremely difficult for him to kill 3 middle ancient sage beasts with his current strength. It might even be impossible. I didn't use any methods. I just fought with them for 300 rounds. Then, when I saw their flaws, I destroyed their souls. The process was very simple. There's nothing to write home about. Xia Ping said casually. Hee, keep making up stories. If we believe you, we'll lose. All the sages looked down on this guy who was full of nonsense. However, they also understood that this was his secret. It might be a secret trump card or a way to save his life at a critical moment. How could he be willing to say it? If they were Fengdu sage, they probably wouldn't say such a thing in front of everyone. If there is nothing else, I will leave. I guess there are no more spies in the entire Thunder City. Xia Ping waved his hand and swept away the 4 demon saint corpses on the ground. After all, these were all top-grade fertilizers. If the world tree absorbed them, it would immediately be able to refine time fruits and space fruits. These were priceless treasures that could not be wasted. When the other sages saw this, they were all salivating. After all, the things on a demon saint were extremely precious. However, this was Saint Fengdu's spoils of war, so they had no right to dispose of it. Boom! At that moment, a voice descended from the void and reached the depths of every sage's consciousness. What's going on? Didn't 3 primordial demon sages sneak into the Thunder City to kill the Fengdu sage? Where is he? Where did he go? The one who spoke was a human ancestor. It was Ancestor Kong Kong. After the other party received Lei Cheng's distress message, he immediately used his projection to descend, but when his projection arrived, there was no trace of the demon saint. Ancestor, the 3 primordial demon sages and a near ancient peak demon saint have been killed by the Fengdu sage. Their corpses are in the hands of the Fengdu sage. The purple thunder sage immediately replied respectfully. What did you say? Sure enough, when Ancestor Kong Kong heard this, he was dumbfounded. The other sages also secretly smiled. Even the ancestor was shocked by this matter. It seemed that they were not ignorant people. This kind of thing was really rare. What about the Fengdu sage? Ancestor Kong Kong asked. He has already left. He may have suffered serious injuries during the battle with the 3 primordial demon sages, so he went back to rest and heal. Purple Thunder Sage thought for a moment and gave a reason. The sages' mouths twitched. They felt that the kid did not look injured at all. He was very lively, not at all like he had fought with the primordial demon sages. From this, they could see how terrifying the Fengdu sage was. Even though he was only a near ancient sage, he could still kill the primordial demon sages. It was really terrifying. At this moment, in the holy land of Taichu, several human ancestors gathered together. What happened? Didn't they say that a primordial demon assassinated the Fengdu sage? How come he came back so soon? Did something happen to him? Xiaoyao Ancestral Master asked. It's over. Fengdu is fine. Instead, he's very lively. He killed the 3 primordial demon sages and a near-ancient one who tried to assassinate him. Besides, he seems to have ascended to the near-ancient sage realm. Ancestor Kong's mouth twitched. What did you say? Hearing this, the Xiaoyao Ancestral Master couldn't help but be astonished. Each of these pieces of news was earth-shattering. Even though he had lived for countless years, he was still shocked by this news. Killing a primordial demon sages was horrifying. In the long history of the universe and all the races in the universe, there were only a few such monsters. If he didn't die, he would definitely ascend to the invincible realm. Is there any surveillance footage? Do you know how he killed the 3 medieval demon sages? Old Ancestor of Heaven and Earth asked. If he had only killed one demon saint of the Middle Ages, he might have relied on his own strength. However, he had killed 3 at the same time and remained unscathed. No matter how he looked at it, there was something fishy about it. He must have some powerful secret treasure on him to be able to do such a thing. No, during the time when he killed the 3 ancient demon sages, the surrounding universe virtual network was paralyzed by the illusory sound flower. We were unable to monitor the battle process. Ancestor Kong sighed. It's possible that he obtained some powerful magic treasure or some kind of universal secret treasure to be able to do this. But if that's the case, there's no need to worry about his safety. At the very least, the ancient demon sage can't do anything to him. The Xiaoyao Ancestral Master nodded. In fact, all of them would have such a fortuitous encounter. In the universe, there were all kinds of powerful treasures that could allow one to kill someone of a higher level. It was just that these treasures were rare and did not appear often. His true identity hasn't been exposed, right? Old Ancestor of Heaven and Earth asked. No. He wasn't assassinated by the demon clan because of his identity as Xia Ping. Instead, he did all kinds of big things with the identity of Fengdu, which aroused the hatred of the demon clan. However, after this incident, I'm afraid the other races will be more afraid of his identity as Fengdu than Xia Ping. Ancestor Kong was speechless. He had changed his identity so that this kid could keep a low profile and not be targeted by powerful enemies of all the races in the universe. He didn't expect that this kid would still do such earth-shattering things and never stop. In this case, what was the point of changing his identity? However, since he had done such things, he couldn't stop it and could only help to deal with the aftermath. Chapter 2407. At this moment, in the demon race sacred land, many demon race patriarchs also learned that the 3 ancient demon sages they sent had been killed by Xia Ping. Their faces were extremely ugly as they had been slapped in the face by the human race. Trash, those 3 guys are simply trash. I gave them an illusory sound flower so that they could return safely. A demon race patriarch shouted angrily. I didn't expect that not only did the 3 of them fail to complete the assassination mission, but they also left their lives in the human race's base, causing our demon race to lose face. Bastards, how did those pieces of trash ascend to the ancient demon sage stage? They can't even deal with a mere near-ancient demon sage. This is simply a disgrace. It flew into a rage. It felt that the actions of the 3 primordial demon saints had disgraced it. If other patriarchs knew that this matter was set up by him, he would probably become a laughingstock and be mocked for many years. One could imagine how angry he was now. We can't blame those 3 ancient demon sages. We can only say that Fengdu's strength is extraordinary. Even if he might have some powerful universe secret treasures to assist him, we have to admit that he is very powerful. At least he can survive in front of the ancient demon sage. A demon race patriarch said in a deep voice. He knew that there were naturally some treasures in the universe that could allow the weak to defeat the strong and kill the ancient demon sage. The problem was that if one couldn't even move in front of the ancient demon sage, then what was the point of having more treasures? The ancient demon sage's space-time domain shrouded over and sealed the space-time of billions of kilometers. This power of sealing time ensured that one wouldn't even have the chance to use treasures. Did you find out Fengdu's true identity? What is his background? Is he from an ancient family, the descendant of a sage, or did he have some fortuitous encounter? It's impossible for such a monster to appear out of nowhere. We're already investigating, but the human race's intelligence system is very strict. Fengdu's identity is extremely confidential. Only people at the level of the human race patriarchs are qualified to investigate. We still don't know his background for the time being. However, some intelligence personnel guessed that Fengdu might be the peerless monster Xia Ping who caused an uproar previously. What's the possibility of that? At least 70%. Of course, I can't guarantee that everything is correct. It might really be someone else. After all, there are too many monsters in the human race. Wu Wudi, who stole our primordial Skydragon talisman, is an example. Another human bastard. Just how much trouble do these humans want to bring to our demon race? How hateful. The ancestral patriarchs of the monster clans discussed with solemn expressions. Damned humans. How could they have so many geniuses? Moreover, they are emerging one after another. The threat they bring to our human race is getting greater and greater. If it weren't for the abyss demons, a huge threat to all the races in the universe, our demon race would have already started a war with the human race. We definitely wouldn't allow them to grow to this extent. This is really raising a tiger to invite disaster. A monster patriarch gritted his teeth and was filled with killing intent. There's no point in saying so much. The human race's power has already been established. Their tail is too big to be shaken, and they're vaguely showing signs of becoming the leader of all the races in the universe. The leader of all races? Could the human race afford to wear such a crown? Aren't they afraid of being crushed to death? Kiki, it's good to give this title to the human race. Once the abyss demons invade the universe, as the leader, shouldn't he face them head-on? He should be the first to go up and become the main force of the allied army. That's right. Sometimes, a crown isn't a good thing in the face of a disaster. Being the main force will cause us to die the fastest and suffer heavy losses. I reckon that after the battle with the abyss demons, the human race will suffer heavy losses and decline. That will be fun. There are no races in this universe that can last forever. In the past, the dragon race, the phoenix race, the Qilin race, and other races were also peak races that ruled the universe. But now, aren't they hiding and don't dare to fight for supremacy? Then bear with the human race for a period of time. Once the war with the abyss demons ends, the human race will have a good time. The ancestral patriarchs of the monster clans were filled with killing intent. A sinister light flashed in the depths of their eyes, making people shudder. In the abyss world. At this moment, some abyss overlords were gathered together. Many terrifying demons sat on the thrones. They seemed to be the leaders of the abyss world. Their bodies emitted a towering demonic aura, as if they were favored by the abyss. Recently, the human race and the monster clans seemed to be at war. Many sages died on both sides. Some abyss demons were well informed and knew what had happened in Heimu City. Foolish humans and monster clans. They clearly know that the abyss world's invasion is imminent, but they are still fighting among themselves. This is the human nature of the various races. Their hatred for each other might be even deeper than that of us abyss demons. Kiki, isn't this a good thing? The fiercer they fight, the better. It's best if both sides fight to the death and perish together. That will save us a lot of energy. How can there be such a good thing in the world? But to us, the more sages die, the better. But we can't underestimate the potential of these races. In times of war, many geniuses will rise rapidly. Back then, Patriarch Xiaoyao, Patriarch Kong Kong, and the others rose rapidly from war. So, we must be wary of the geniuses of the various races. We can't give them a chance to grow. Don't worry. Learning from the last war, we've already activated the hunting opportunity. We'll specifically hunt down the geniuses of the various races. Anyone with a bit of fame will be on our hunting list. Recently, Wu Wudi of the human race and that Fengdu sage are on our blacklist. Soon, you will hear about the fall of these human geniuses. Many abyss demons discussed and carried out an extremely sinister plan. They used the entire universe as a chessboard and started to move their pieces step by step. Other than the peak races like the human race and monster clan, there are also the dragon race, phoenix race, Qilin race, and other powerful races. Don't underestimate these former overlords of the universe. An abyss demon said in a deep voice, although they are content in a corner now and never show themselves, who knows what they will do at the crucial moment. In the primordial era, it was these races who ambushed us from behind. Otherwise, we wouldn't have suffered such a crushing defeat. I haven't forgotten this hatred for even a second. Don't worry, we've already prepared a gift for those useless races. Soon, they will know how terrifying it is to offend us. This time, we will make them suffer heavy losses and no longer be able to compete with us. The eyes of these abyss overlords revealed a cold glint that made people shudder. Chapter 2408. Thunder City, the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers. A few days later, the storm caused by the Demon Clan's assassination in Thunder City slowly subsided, and Xia Ping finally received a huge reward from the All Saints Palace. Even though there was no surveillance video as proof, there were witnesses and material evidence in hand, which was enough to prove that Xia Ping had killed 3 demon sages from the Middle Ages and 1 demon sage at the peak of the Near Ancient Age. This time, he had also obtained a total of 5 billion points. In addition to the 3 billion points from before, he had a total of 8 billion points on him. In addition to obtaining the All Saints Palace points, he had also killed 3 demon sages from the Middle Ages and 1 demon sage at the peak of the Near Ancient Age, which aroused great hatred from the Demon Clan and also brought him 200 hatred crystals. This was another huge sum of money, making the total number of hatred crystals he had on him reach 1,680. It could be said that he had gained a lot from this assassination. However, although Xia Ping had won a great victory, he suddenly felt that he seemed to lack some effective killing methods, especially if he wanted to kill sage-level experts. Ordinary magical powers were already very difficult to work. Even though he had supreme magic treasures such as the Reincarnation Pen and the Book of Karma, these magic treasures were his trump cards and could not be used easily. It seems that I need to exchange for some powerful secret soul techniques. Xia Ping touched his chin. This time, the Demon Clan's assassination gave him some inspiration. If he wanted to completely kill a sage-level expert, only soul attacks would be the most effective. Although the true solution of illusions he had was a relatively powerful secret technique, the problem was that this secret technique was equivalent to a martial arts manual. It could analyze everything related to illusions, but it did not have any powerful secret soul techniques. I wonder what secret soul techniques the All Saints Palace has. He thought carefully and immediately logged into the All Saints Palace's internal website. As a peak race, the human clan had collected countless precious secret techniques, and there must be many secret soul techniques among them. Even though secret soul techniques were extremely precious in the entire universe and would not be easily taught, a human saint like him was qualified to come into contact with them. Immediately, he opened the exchange list for secret soul techniques. Immediately, there were many secret soul techniques listed on it. There were at least tens of thousands of them. Of course, these secret soul techniques varied from ordinary to precious, with varying values. For example, the soul lock technique seemed to be able to lock onto the enemy's soul and track them. No matter where the enemy ran to in the universe, they would be easily locked onto by the soul lock technique. The ripple soul shock technique could stimulate ripple-like soul fluctuations, forming a terrifying shock. Even the space-time domain could not withstand it. It could easily knock the enemy unconscious or even cause them to vomit blood. There were also curse techniques, which were powerful soul secret techniques that contained the curse law. They could curse enemies across countless space-time distances. The problem was that this secret technique had a huge flaw. Just like the 7 wounds fist, if you wanted to injure others, you had to injure yourself first. If you wanted to destroy the enemy's soul, you had to sacrifice your own soul. This was an equal exchange. It could be said that this was a sinister method of perishing together with the enemy. There are actually so many of them. However, since I'm going to cultivate them, I will naturally have to cultivate the strongest secret soul technique. Xia Ping looked at the list and immediately saw the most expensive soul secret art. It required 1 billion points to exchange for, and its name was Zhuangzhou's Dream of Butterfly. You must be joking. 1 billion points to exchange for a secret soul technique. When he saw the exchange points, he couldn't help but jump in fright. Other soul secret techniques required tens of millions of points at most, but this secret technique required a whopping 1 billion points. It was simply frightening. However, after reading the introduction, he suddenly understood why such a secret skill was so expensive. This secret soul technique, Zhuangzhou Mengdai, seemed to have been created by a human saint who had reached the invincible realm. He was the strongest master of illusion in the entire human clan. In the primordial age, when fighting against the demons of the abyss, Saint Zhuangzhou could cover billions of light years with a single thought, causing countless demons to fall into a dream. Even the abyss demons in the invincible realm couldn't resist it. It could be said that he alone could fend off countless demons from the abyss. His name shook the boundless universe, and all the races in the universe were in awe of him. The dragon race, the phoenix race, and many other races all treated him like an esteemed guest. But unfortunately, Saint Zhuangzhou was too much of a threat. The demons of the abyss saw him as a thorn in their flesh. They used all kinds of tricks and plotted against Saint Zhuangzhou. In the end, Saint Zhuangzhou died from serious injuries. This secret technique, Zhuangzhou Mengdai, was a supreme secret technique left behind by Saint Zhuangzhou. All the saints of the human clan treated it like a treasure. It contains Saint Zhuangzhou's lifelong efforts and his understanding of the rule of illusion. It could be said that this wasn't just a simple secret technique. It also contained Saint Zhuangzhou's understanding of his own cultivation. No wonder it requires 1 billion points. The understanding of an invincible saint is indeed worth so many points. Xia Ping realized. However, he now had a total of 8 billion points on him, so a mere 1 billion points was nothing. Being able to see such a precious soul secret technique was also a huge gain. Beep. Thinking of this, he didn't hesitate and immediately exchanged for the secret technique, Zhuangzhou Mengdai. Exchange successful. At this moment, a robotic voice resounded from the depths of the universe virtual network. Fengdu Saint, this Zhuangzhou Mengdai is one of the highest secret techniques of the human clan. Its value cannot be described with words. You must never leak it out. If not, you will be seen as a traitor and be chased by the human clan. I hope Fengdu Saint will remember this. In truth, only human saints had the right to exchange for this technique. It only required 1 billion points. If it was someone from another race, no matter how many points they had, they wouldn't be able to exchange for it. Even vassal races couldn't do so. I understand. I definitely won't leak it out. Xia Ping nodded. This technique is extremely important. It can only be used in the universe virtual network. Hence, Fengdu Saint has to stay in the universe virtual network to receive the inheritance. The robotic voice resounded once more. Yes. Xia Ping said. Rumble. The moment the voice landed, the entire universe virtual network changed. It seemed to transform into a boundless space. An old man wearing a Taoist robe appeared in front of Xia Ping. He sat in space. It was as though he was riding on a kunping that had crossed multiple star fields. His body was in between reality and illusion. It was as though he was in a different dimension. No one could find his tracks. Without a doubt, this old man was the legendary Zhuangzhou sage. Of course, this wasn't his real body. It was just a projection that he had left in the universe virtual network. Even after countless years, it hadn't weakened at all. He wondered exactly how powerful such a figure was in the primeval age. He didn't bother with Xia Ping. He sat in space and spat out words. It was like the sound of the Tao. It formed the laws of the universe. It was a supreme scripture. This was the content of Zhuang Zhou Mengdai. Xia Ping didn't dare delay. He focused and listened carefully to Zhuang Zhou sage's words. Chapter 2409. Many days later, Xia Ping finally left the virtual network. He also learned Saint Zhuang Zhou's secret technique from the inheritance, Zhuang Zhou Dream of Butterfly. Phew, indeed an invincible saint's soul technique, it's indeed extraordinary. He took a deep breath and was in high spirits. A terrifying light shone in the depths of his eyes. After several days of preaching and listening to the teachings of Saint Zhuang Zhou, he had a deeper understanding of the illusory arts. He had already reached a new level and gained a lot from it. Even though he had the true understanding of illusory arts, he could not compare to sage Zhuang Zhou, who had immersed himself in illusory arts for countless years. Just a few words from him was enough to enlighten him. This was the use of a master. Zhuang Zhou Dream of Butterfly, this technique is indeed powerful. Xia Ping squinted his eyes. Just at the beginner level, this soul technique could instantly release illusions, pulling the enemy into a dream, making them think that they have become a carefree butterfly, without any worries, falling into eternal oblivion. Don't think that this was easy to achieve. In fact, just the beginner level was extremely difficult. This was because any warrior with a strong will would find it extremely difficult to hypnotize someone, much less pull them into an illusion. To do this, one needed to completely hypnotize someone or even erase all their memories before instilling it into the butterfly's memory. Only then could such a thing be done. Furthermore, if one didn't instill the butterfly's memory but a pig's, then one would become a pig eating and sleeping well every day. Instilling into a dog's memory, then one would become a dog. And if it was instilled into someone else's memory, then one would think that one was dead and reincarnated. One wouldn't have any doubts. Instead, they would find all sorts of reasons to convince themselves. In the past, sage Zhuang Zhou had changed the memories of billions of abyssal demons with a single thought, making them think that he was a human. Thus, they had betrayed him. They hated the original abyssal demons and killed each other, causing the abyss to suffer heavy losses. From this, one could see how terrifying Zhuang Zhou Dream of Butterfly was. However, this is just the beginner level. If I reach a higher level, it'll be even more terrifying. Xia Ping clenched his fists. What he had just described was just the basics. If he could reach a higher level, he would be able to cover thousands of light years with a single thought. Using his soul force, he would be able to create a huge illusion world. This illusory world was incomparably real. It had its own civilization, its own history, and countless creatures lived here. The civilization was extremely resplendent and dazzling. Enemies who were enveloped by the illusory world would be dragged into this world and become a member of the illusory characters in this world, making them think that their lives were just like that and that they would sink into oblivion forever. Of course, this ability seemed to be somewhat similar to the true illusion quintessence, and there seemed to be some similarities between the two. Therefore, sage Zhuang Zhou's mastery in illusions might not be comparable to the creator of the true solution of illusions, but he had already walked on the same path and understood the true essence of the great Tao of illusions. However, compared to the true solution of illusions, sage Zhuang Zhou's Dream of Butterfly was more like a manual. It was as if someone was teaching you how to fabricate dreams step by step. To give a simple example, the true solution of illusions was like basic physics and mathematics, which could help you understand the essence of illusions. However, sage Zhuang Zhou's Dream of Butterfly was a book that taught you how to build and maintain various technological machines. Of course, it was almost impossible for an ordinary person to learn sage Zhuang Zhou's Dream of Butterfly because it was too difficult. Furthermore, it had a high requirement for one's aptitude. However, for someone like Xia Ping who had already comprehended the true solution of illusions, comprehending sage Zhuang Zhou's Dream of Butterfly was like a matter of course. Another 10 days passed. Xia Ping stayed in the space of the mountain river pearl and continued to study sage Zhuangzhou's dream of butterfly. As for the various things that happened in the outside world, it had nothing to do with him. Among them were the sages of Thunder City, such as the Purple Thunder Sage. The Rain Listener Sage once wanted to visit him, but he refused to meet them with the reason that he was in seclusion. On this day his body trembled. Boom, in an instant, with his body as the center, a huge illusory world with a radius of 700 light-years immediately enveloped it. Mountains rose from the ground, rivers ran through the void, countries stood in great numbers, and countless living beings with flesh and blood appeared in this world. These living beings could even talk to each other. They had their own history, memories, and personalities. The laws of illusion interweaved with each other, enveloping this world like an eggshell. It was as if a world had been created out of thin air. If this was not an illusory state, others who saw this scene would probably believe it was real, thinking that a huge, mysterious, and tyrannical world had appeared in this universe. My illusory realm has finally reached the first level of perfection. Xia Ping clenched his fists in excitement. Without a doubt, this sage Zhuangzhou's dream of butterfly had a great effect on him. The first level of illusory techniques was one thought, one world. It was also divided into beginner, intermediate, advanced, and perfection. Now, he had finally reached the first level of perfection. He was only one step away from the second level of illusory techniques, one thought, one world. Once he broke through to the second level of illusory techniques, he would be a true grandmaster of illusion. Such an existence, even in the entire universe, could be counted on one's fingers. However, even the first level of illusory techniques, perfection, was extremely terrifying. If it was a sage whose soul power was weaker than his, he could probably pull the enemy into the illusion world of Zhuangzhou's dream of butterfly with just a thought, causing the enemy to sink into it forever, unable to extricate themselves. The most terrifying characteristic of Zhuangzhou's dream of butterfly was that it was stealthy and silent. Often, it could control the enemy unknowingly. That was why Sage Zhuangzhou was feared by all the races in the universe, and was regarded as a mortal enemy by the demons of the abyss. Since my illusory techniques have reached perfection, it seems that it is time to head to the dragon world. The reason why Xia Ping had not gone to the dragon world for so long was because he wanted to improve his illusory techniques to perfection. After all, the dragon world was the base camp of the dragon race. There were countless experts and old monsters there. Who knew what kind of accident would happen? Therefore, the more tricks he mastered, the higher the chance of survival. Now that his illusory techniques had reached the first level of perfection, his strength was probably several times more terrifying than before. With just a thought, he could make the sage of the Middle Ages fall into an illusion, unable to extricate himself. Even if he were to be besieged by the dragon race's sage, he would not be afraid. In front of an illusion master, besieging him would be equivalent to courting death. Chapter 24:10. A few days later, Xia Ping quietly left Thunder City without letting anyone know about it. After leaving the Thunder City, he took out the Myriad Star, boarded the flying ship, and flew off into the distance. Master, yes, fly towards the northeast. I can sense that the Dragon Realm is there. It seems to be quite far away from the Thunder Sea region. The primordial heavenly dragon talisman artifact spirit directed the direction the Myriad Star was flying in. Oh right, do you have a name for the primordial heavenly dragon talisman? Xia Ping asked. No, I might have had a name before, but I have lost almost all of my memories, so I don't have a name now, the primordial heavenly dragon talisman artifact spirit replied. Xia Ping rubbed his chin and said, all right, then I will give you a name. It will be easier for you to remember in the future. You shall be called Ao Wu from now on. Thank you, Master. The primordial heavenly dragon talisman artifact spirit nodded excitedly. Its sense of belonging to Xia Ping had also increased. This time, the voyage took a full 3 months. During this period, the Myriad Star crossed countless seas and dodged countless cosmic storms. Finally, it neared the Dragon Realm. It seemed to be a remote and barren sea region. This nameless sea region was also in the Mystic Zone. However, because of the lack of resources, basically no one came to this place. Is this the place? Xiaoping asked. He looked around. Everywhere was barren. There were also many isolated islands in this sea region. However, there were no resources on these isolated islands. They were worthless. It was no wonder that no race came to this place. It was practically deserted. Even in the Mystic Zone that was rich in resources, there were actually many places that were even more barren than ordinary zones. These were all uninhabited zones, and no one would fight for such territory. Yes, Master. I can sense that the entrance to the Dragon Realm should be nearby. Ao Wu nodded and said confidently, however, we can't enter the Dragon Realm for now. We need to find a loophole in the Dragon Realm before we can enter. Otherwise, the patriarchs of the Dragon Realm will definitely find out. Although he could sense where the Dragon Realm was, he still needed a certain amount of time to enter the Dragon Realm without being discovered by the patriarchs of the Dragon Realm. Only then could he find the loophole in the Dragon Realm. After all, such a huge world could not be without loopholes even though it looked perfect. These loopholes were the key to entering the Dragon Realm. Dragon Realm. I'll see if it's nearby. Xia Ping activated the Golden Crow's eyes of hell and saw through the void, piercing through the 8 realms. All the space-time hidden in the depths of the dimension appeared in his pupils, big and small. Boom, in an instant he saw a huge dimensional entrance appear above a deserted island. It seemed to be hidden beyond the 108,000 dimensional barriers. If not for the Hell Golden Crow's eyes that allowed him to ignore dimensional barriers, he probably wouldn't have discovered the existence of this entrance. In the sky above the entrance, an extremely huge world had appeared. This world was simply boundless, spanning tens of trillions of light years. Even with the power of Xia Ping's divine sense, he could only perceive the tip of the iceberg. Vaguely, he discovered that the appearance of this world was like an ancestral dragon. It exuded an endless aura of a true dragon and contained extremely complicated runes of the laws of origin. This kind of aura suppressed the void and suppressed the surroundings. However, the size of this ancestral dragon was simply too big. It was so big that one couldn't even see its tail and head. All one could see was a piece of scale on its body. Just the surface area of this scale alone was probably 10 times larger than the Lightning Sea region. What is this? Could the Dragon Realm be a superworld formed after the ancestral dragon died? Xia Ping was shocked. He felt as if he had seen through many of the mysteries of the Dragon Realm. The Golden Crow of Hell bloodline in his body also seemed to be shaken by this aura from the ancestral dragon. It was vaguely resisting, as if a Golden Crow of Hell had awakened from the depths of his bloodline. At this moment, his body was buzzing. Every drop of Golden Crow of Hell blood was boiling like lava from hell. The dark golden blood surged like the ocean. Master, could it be that you have discovered the location of the Dragon Realm? Ao Wu asked curiously. He had also sensed the strange state of Xia Ping's body. Yes, I have indeed seen it. Xia Ping nodded. That's amazing, Master. Ao Wu's face was full of admiration. It is said that the Dragon Realm is different from ordinary worlds. It exists in between reality and illusion. It is illusory and exists above the void. Even primordial sages may not be able to sense the aura and traces of this world. Ordinary sages would not even be able to sense the Dragon Realm if it appeared in front of them, much less come into contact with it. It is as if it is in another dimension. He knew that just the ability to discover the location of the Dragon Realm was extraordinary. This master of his was indeed very powerful. He was only at the near ancient realm, but his ability had already surpassed many sages. No wonder you said that we need to find the loophole of the Dragon Realm before we can enter. This world is indeed seamless and flawless. There is almost no loophole that can be used to invade. Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He could see that the Dragon Realm in the depths of the dimension was covered in dense nomological patterns. It seemed to form a complete closed loop, constantly flowing and rotating. It was unfathomably deep. Thick nomological chains like the Milky Way wrapped around this world, forming an absolute world domain. It was even different from the original nomological laws of the universe. It operated completely independently. One could imagine that if any foreign object entered the dragon realm, it would immediately be discovered by the old antiques that controlled the dragon realm. Even a fly would not be able to enter. It was not that no sages had searched for traces of the dragon realm over the countless years. They had even appeared at the entrance of the dragon realm. The problem was that the entire dragon realm was like a super fortress. So what if they found traces of the dragon realm? Without the permission of the dragon race's patriarchs, no sages could enter. Unless they wanted to start an all-out war with the patriarchs. Also, the dragon realm could move freely and could move to other places at any time. Thus, the traces of the dragon realm became even more elusive. As time passed, the dragon race became even more mysterious. Even the sages did not know much about the dragon race. Master is wise. Ao Wu was impressed. How long do you need to find a way to sneak into the dragon realm? Xia Ping asked. Ao Wu thought for a moment. 3 days. I need at least 3 days to find the loophole of the dragon realm's operation. All right, then we'll wait here for 3 days. Xia Ping nodded. He also did not want to alarm those old antiques of the dragon race by entering the dragon realm. That could cause him great trouble. This time, he was here to obtain benefits, not to look for trouble. Chapter 24:11. Just as Xia Ping was about to find a deserted island and wait for 3 days, boom. All of a sudden, he sensed intense battle fluctuations hundreds of light years away. The void was distorted. It seemed like sages were fighting on another deserted island. What's going on? There's still a battle going on here? Xia Ping's heart flickered. The world tree clone on his body immediately extended billions of thick roots of the world tree, covering an area of 700 light-years in an instant. Soon, his divine sense silently enveloped the battlefield and saw what was happening there. In the center of the battlefield, 4 immortal sages appeared. 3 of them were sages of the dragon tribe. All of them emitted a terrifying dragon aura that distorted the void. The last one was a human sage, a female sage who had just entered the immortal realm. However, Xia Ping recognized this sage. It was Yi Mengyao, whom he had a one-night stand with. At this moment, Yi Mengyao was in a precarious situation. She spat out a mouthful of blood. Her aura was weakening rapidly. Clearly, she had been severely injured while being chased. Even though she had an immortal body, she was still no match for the 3 peak immortal realm sages of the dragon tribe. She would probably die in the hands of the dragon tribe sages soon. It's Yi Mengyao. Why is she here? Xia Ping's body flickered and he immediately teleported over. Although he didn't know what was happening around Yi Mengyao, he couldn't just watch Yi Mengyao die in this place. Currently, on a deserted island, 3 peak immortal realm sages of the dragon tribe were confronting Yi Mengyao. Both sides were engaged in a fierce battle. Although Yi Mengyao was only an early immortal realm sage, her combat power was terrifying. She held a low-grade sacred longbow in her hand. Every time she shot, it was like an arrow of principle. Every time she shot, it could severely injure the immortal body of the dragon tribe. The 3 peak immortal realm sages of the dragon tribe were also fearful. They kept dodging. If they were hit, even with their powerful bodies, they would be severely injured. Human, hand over the dragon would star nucleus. If you hand it over, we can spare your life. That's right. This dragonwood star is of great benefit to our dragon race. It can be considered a treasure of our dragon race. There's no way it would fall into the hands of you humans. You are alone right now while there are 3 of us. Even if your combat prowess is not bad, you are definitely no match for us. Most importantly, we've already notified the elders in the clan. Very soon, near ancient realm sages, and even middle ancient realm sages, will arrive. You won't be able to escape. The 3 saints of the dragon tribe at the peak of immortal realm shouted. They tried to attack Yi Mengyao's morale. If this human woman's confidence wavered in the slightest, they would not hesitate to use their killer moves to kill this human sage and snatch the dragonwood star core. It's the dragonwood star core? Xia Ping, who was teleporting over, couldn't help but be moved when he heard these words. This was an incredible peerless treasure. It was rumored that this was the essence of a planet. This peerless treasure would only be born when the planet was about to be extinguished. Ordinary sages would not be able to see it even once in a billion years. If it was put up for auction, it would be sold out. This was because this star core contained the complete laws of the universe. If one carried it with them and carefully comprehended it, it would be of great help in comprehending the laws of the yard. It would allow one to get closer to the origin of the universe. If they could devour the energy inside this star core, they could immediately save billions of years of cultivation. It was equivalent to devouring the essence of a living planet. One could imagine how precious this star core was. And this dragonwood star core was even more incredible. Perhaps a sage of the dragon tribe had once fallen on a planet. Its blood had seeped into every corner of the planet and fused with the star core. Then, after billions of years of metamorphosis, it finally became a peerless treasure. Therefore, this star core not only contained the pure essence of the wood element, but it also contained extremely abundant life energy. It also contained an enormous amount of origin energy of the dragon tribe sages. If this star core was taken away by the dragon tribe sages and devoured, they would probably be able to advance immediately. Even for the sages of the Middle Ages, it was a treasure that was extremely desired. Xia Ping did not find it strange that these sages of the dragon tribe would have evil intentions. It was because the dragonwood star core was too precious. It was a treasure that could not be bought even with money. Get lost. The dragonwood star core is a treasure I found on this deserted island. It is not a treasure of your dragon tribe. You are really shameless. You want to steal my treasure? Let's see if you have the ability to do so. Yi Mengyao sneered. She had rich battle experience and was also a peerless genius that only appeared once in a billion years. How could she be scared by the words of these sages of the dragon tribe? Even though she was in a critical situation, it did not mean that she did not have a way to escape. Moreover, it would not be easy for these three peak immortal realm sages to kill her. However, although she did not want to admit it, her current situation was indeed very dangerous. In order to escape, she had been burning her chi and blood. She had already started to damage the essence of her soul. If she continued, she might damage her foundation. At that time, even if she could escape, if her foundation was damaged, she would never be able to reach the near ancient realm for the rest of her life. She felt that she was really out of luck. Originally, she thought that she had found a relic of an almighty expert on this deserted island and discovered the existence of the dragonwood star core. Her luck had turned for the better. However, she had never thought that she would meet these sages of the dragon tribe. Originally, these sages of the dragon tribe would not easily appear in the mystic area. She did not know why they had appeared. She had even encountered such enemies. She did not know whether she was lucky or unlucky. However, no matter what, she would not hand over the dragonwood star core. It was related to her own fate. Most importantly, even if she handed over the dragonwood star core, these sages of the dragon tribe would not let her go. She could feel the evil and murderous intent deep in the hearts of these evil dragons. Stupid human, stubborn. Since you want to die, we will fulfill your wish. We must have the dragonwood star core. It is not something that a small human like you can touch. The three peak immortal realm sages of the dragon tribe sneered. They immediately took action, splitting into three directions and attacking Yi Mengyao. They wanted to kill this damned human sage instantly and snatch the dragonwood star core. Otherwise, when their parents and seniors came, they would not have a share. Damn it. Yi Mengyao's face was solemn. She could feel that these three immortal sages of the dragon tribe were not joking. If she could not hold on, she might really die. Boom, however, at this moment, the void twisted and an invisible illusory power enveloped her. Chapter 24:12. Buzz. In an instant, a powerful soul power shrouded the void, seeping into every corner of this area. The three saints at the peak of immortal realm couldn't resist at all. In an instant, they fell into an illusion, as if they were dragged into an illusory world. In this illusory world, They were still madly fighting against Yi Mengyao, immersed in the excitement of getting the dragon wood star core. In reality, they were also dumbstruck. Their eyes were dull and they couldn't move. What's going on? Yi Mengyao was dumbfounded. She had no idea what was going on. Just now, the three saints at the peak of immortal realms surrounded her with a murderous look. She was already prepared to fight to the death with this group of dragon race sages, but she did not expect that the three dragon race sages would suddenly be stunned, as if they were completely controlled by someone. The void twisted and a figure appeared in front of Yi Mengyao. "Xia Ping, why are you here?" Yi Mengyao's pupils shrank when she saw this figure. How could she not know this person who suddenly appeared in front of her? Even if he turned into ashes, she would still recognize him. After all, the two of them had done something indescribable. One night of wet dreams, and he took away her first time. She didn't know how many times this despicable man had appeared in her dreams. However, she never thought that she would meet him in this nameless sea in the mystic area. "It's just a coincidence." Xia Ping smiled. "I didn't expect to meet you in this nameless sea. Moreover, I happened to see you being chased by a few saints of the Dragon Clan. If I didn't help you, I'm afraid you would be dead by now." "Huh? You mean you helped me? What a joke. Even without you, those useless saints of the Dragon Clan couldn't have killed me." Hearing these words, Yi Mengyao was filled with anger. She clenched her teeth. This hateful man actually wanted to treat her as his savior. He was really hateful. However, when she saw the three saints at the peak of immortal realm, she was shocked. After all, they were saints at the peak of immortal realm. They were extremely powerful. However, this man had just appeared and instantly subdued the three undying saints. His strength was so strong that it made one's hair stand on end. It was unbelievable. Even though she had more or less heard of Xia Ping's reputation in the universe, she didn't expect his strength to have improved to such a level. It seemed like he could even casually kill an immortal saint. This kind of strength was probably far beyond his own. Still being stubborn? It's the nature of women to say one thing and mean another. Hearing this, Xia Ping shook his head. "Don't worry, I'm not trying to save you. I just want to save the child in your stomach. I don't want to kill two people at once." "Bullshit, who has a child in their stomach? A dog's mouth can't spit out ivory." Yi Mengyao was so angry that her face turned red. Her beautiful eyes stared at Xia Ping. She simply wanted to eat this guy up. "You don't have a baby in your belly? It seems that I guessed wrong. After one night, I almost thought that I had become a cheap father." Xia Ping touched his chin and looked at Yi Mengyao. "Damn scum, who would let you become a cheap father? Stop dreaming." Yi Mengyao was so angry that she almost died. Looking at this bastard's worried face, just how many women had he offended? Not only did he show mercy everywhere, but he also left his seed everywhere. Who knew how many illegitimate children this bastard had outside? There might even be some pregnant women looking for him to settle the score and ask for compensation. "Forget it, it's best that you didn't make me a father. Let's talk after I capture these three saints of the dragon race." Xia Ping waved his hand and wanted to capture the three saints of the dragon race. He didn't want to kill them for now. After all, they might be from the dragon world and might know a lot of information about the dragon world. Under torture, he would be able to understand more about the dragon world. This would be of great benefit to him when he entered the dragon world. "Stop, you scoundrel. You dare to capture the saints of my dragon race. You are courting death. Release the saints immediately." At this moment, a dragon's roar came from the void in the distance. It was earth-shattering. Ripples that could be seen with the naked eye appeared in a radius of billions of kilometers. Space-time trembled. "Oh no, the reinforcements of the dragon race are here." Hearing the terrifying might of the law contained in the voice, Yi Mengyao's expression changed. She could sense that the newcomers were much more powerful than the three immortal saints. They had at least reached the near ancient realm, or even the middle ancient realm. Their strength was unfathomable. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Before she could think of anything, a ripple appeared in the void in the distance. Immediately, 5 saints of the dragon race walked out from the depths of the void. 3 of them had reached the middle ancient realm, while the other 2 were near ancient realm pinnacle dragon race saints. The 5 of them emitted a terrifying draconic aura. The radius of hundreds of light years was enveloped by the draconic aura. Even low-level life forms couldn't maintain a clear mind under such pressure. This was the aura of a superior being. It's over. It's all over now. Yi Mingyao's heart immediately sank. To be honest, she had a trump card that could allow her to escape from the immortal saints. However, she didn't have the confidence to escape from the Middle Ancient Realm saints. That was because the Middle Ancient Realm saints had comprehended the law of time. Before she could even make a move, the time within a radius of billions of kilometers would stop with a single thought. No matter how much power she had, no matter how many trump cards she probably wouldn't be able to use them in front of such existences. She wouldn't even have the chance to use them. The difference between the immortal realm and the Middle Ancient Realm was just too great. I received news that a human saint obtained the Dragonwood Star Core. That's why I rushed over. I thought that the Dragonwood Star Core had long been taken by the juniors of my race. Even that human saint might have been killed. A cold glint flashed in the eyes of one of the Middle Ancient Realm saints. I didn't expect an expert like you to appear in the human race. You can actually control the juniors of my race in an instant. You are indeed very capable. His gaze landed on Xia Ping. This was because the greatest threat to the 2 human race sages was undoubtedly this man. It could sense that this kid's cultivation had already reached the near ancient realm middle stage, and his strength was indeed much stronger than that of its 3 juniors. Human, let's cut the crap. Immediately release the 3 juniors of our race. At the same time, hand over the Dragonwood Star Core. Otherwise, you won't be able to escape death today. Don't think that you can escape from us just because you comprehended the law of space. The power of our dragon race's space-time domain isn't something you can imagine. Our battle prowess far surpasses that of human saints of the same level. The few saints of the dragon race shouted angrily. Their killing intent surged, and their words contained a great threat. Chapter 24:13. Boom, a violent dragon aura and murderous aura immediately gushed out from the sages of the dragon clan, triggering a terrifying killing intent in the world. The wind and clouds changed, and the void within a radius of billions of kilometers trembled. From this, one could see how powerful the sages of the dragon clan were. Their strength far surpassed that of sages of the same level. Yi Mengyao was just an immortal sage. How could she withstand such a terrifying killing intent? She felt as if she was carrying several worlds on her back. She couldn't even breathe. It was her first time facing such a terrifying killing intent. However, at this moment, Xia Ping suddenly stood in front of Yi Mengyao. The space domain on his body spread out, as if he had cast a world barrier, easily blocking the aura and killing intent. He casually grabbed the 3 peak immortal sages of the Dragon Clan who had fallen into the illusion and put them into the internal space of his pearl of mountains and rivers. This. Yi Mingyao's beautiful eyes widened. She could completely feel the power of the space domain on Xia Ping's body. It could actually easily block the killing intent and aura of the saints of the Middle Ages and eliminate them. She could sense that Xia Ping's strength was no longer the same as before. He had already advanced to the near ancient realm and comprehended the law of space. His strength was 1 level higher than hers. However, she was still worried. After all, there were 3 saints of the Middle Ages who had comprehended the law of time in front of her. How could he withstand such power? Before Yi Mengyao could say anything, Xia Ping's actions were immediately seen by the 5 sages of the Dragon Clan. Their pupils shrank and they emitted terrifying anger. That was because such an action was too unscrupulous, and it was too disrespectful. Such an action had undoubtedly aroused the anger of the 5 dragon race sages. Human, how dare you capture the sages of the Dragon Clan in front of us? You refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. You're courting death. A saint of the Dragon Clan who had reached the Middle Ancient Realm roared furiously. They felt that they had given this human sage enough face. However, this human sage was so arrogant that he ignored all their warnings. He even captured 3 saints of the immortal Dragon Clan in front of them. This was simply a slap to their faces. Shio. As soon as he finished speaking, the ancient Middle Realm Saint of the Dragon Clan immediately made his move. A huge dragon claw reached out, seemingly distorting time and space. The void that spanned hundreds of millions of miles was under the control of this dragon claw. At this moment, it was as if time and space had come to a complete stop. Everything in the world was unable to move, and only that dragon claw could smash over with boundless killing intent. Yi Meng Yao could feel all the cells in her body trembling. It was as if she was hit by this claw, even if she had an immortal body, she would still die and her soul would be destroyed. Spatial domain, absolute barrier. However, Xia Ping didn't move. Instead, he activated his space domain. Instantly, with his body as the center, a spatial barrier that resembled the patterns of an ancient tortoise shell burst forth, sweeping through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Vaguely, it was as if a world blessed by the gods had enveloped every corner of his body, and the spatial barrier was covered in dense and complex patterns of the laws of space. In an instant, the dragon claw slammed down, bombarding the spatial barrier on Xia Ping's body. The two forces collided in a frenzy, creating an intense impact. The surrounding void distorted, creating a powerful spatial storm. The surrounding islands were destroyed by this force, and countless rocks were instantly shattered into pieces. Meanwhile, Xia Ping and Yi Meng Yao, who was behind him, were still unharmed. It was as if this power that could shatter time and space could not penetrate within one step of the spatial barrier. Impossible, this is a claw that contains the laws of space and time. It can distort time and space, and it can even kill a near ancient realm saint from tens of millions of dimensions away. Yet you can withstand it. What kind of space domain is this? How can it be so powerful? The ancient Dragon Clan saint who attacked was shocked. To be honest, it had lived for countless eras. Although it had spent most of its time in the dragon world, it was considered to have seen many geniuses from all the major races. However, it had never seen such a terrifying human saint. He had only reached the near ancient realm, but the laws of space he had condensed were able to withstand its punch that contained the laws of space and time. Such a thing was simply too absurd and unimaginable. If it had not experienced it for itself and seen it with its own eyes, it would have thought that it was a joke. It was not the only one who was shocked. The other 4 Dragon Clan saints were also shocked. Their minds trembled and their pupils contracted. They did not expect the human saint to be so powerful. This is my chance. Secret Soul Technique, Zhuangzhou's Dream of Butterfly. Xia Ping's current soul power was so powerful, and his perception of the soul was so sharp that even the ancient saints might not be able to compare to him. He immediately sensed that the 5 Dragon Clan saints' minds were shaken and revealed a flaw. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for him to use his illusion to control them. Buzz, in an instant, with his body as the center, waves of ethereal soul fluctuations spread out, covering a radius of 700 light-years in an instant. It was so silent that even the laws of space and time could not withstand it. What? Damn it, this is the secret soul technique, an illusion. Bastard, damn human, how dare you attack us? Use the secret soul technique of the Dragon Clan and stop him immediately. The 5 Dragon Clan saints also sensed this silent secret soul technique. They were shocked and angry at once. They did not expect this human to be so crazy that he dared to attack all 5 of them at the same time. They roared and tried to resist, but it was too late. This Zhuangzhou Dream of Butterfly technique was silent and immediately penetrated the flaw in their minds. It turned into ethereal soul butterflies and instantly sank into the depths of their souls. Boom! In an instant, the 5 Dragon Clan saints were stunned and fell into the world of Zhuangzhou Dream of Butterfly technique. They were surrounded by blue butterflies and their eyes were completely dull. Obviously, they did not have any strength to resist. How it worked. As expected of the Zhuangzhou Dream of Butterfly technique. Even the saints of the Middle Ages could not resist it. If we are careful, maybe even the ancient saints will fall for it. Xia Ping laughed loudly and his heart was filled with joy. It was not in vain that he had painstakingly cultivated this secret soul technique. It was indeed strange and powerful. If he had used other magical powers to fight against these saints of the Middle Ages, he was afraid that it would not end in a short time. However, it was different when he used Zhuangzhou dream of butterfly technique. As long as the other party had a moment of carelessness, they would be controlled by him and fall into an illusion, unable to extricate themselves and trapped in it forever. Let's go. Xia Ping grabbed the 5 Dragon Clan saints and imprisoned them in the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. At the same time, he also grabbed Yi Mengyao and quickly left this place to hide on other islands. After all, this place was near the Dragon World and there might be other Dragon Clan saints coming. Chapter 24:14. In the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. At this moment, Xia Ping was far away from the place where the battle took place. He came to a nameless island in the distance and hid there temporarily. Then he and Yi Mengyao hid in the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. He believed that with the concealment ability of the Pearl of Mountain and River, even if the sages of the Dragon Tribe came nearby, they would not be able to detect his whereabouts, nor would they know that the sages of the Dragon Tribe had disappeared. But how should I deal with these sages of the Dragon Tribe? Xia Ping touched his chin. In addition to the 3 sages of the Peak Immortal Realm, there were also 3 Middle Ancient Realm and 2 Near Ancient Realm Dragon Tribe sages who arrived later. He did not want to kill these sages of the Dragon Tribe for the time being because he still needed to rely on them to obtain information about the Dragon Realm and various types of information. This was related to his safety after entering the Dragon Realm. No matter how cautious he was, it was the right thing to do. However, now that these 8 sages of the Dragon Tribe had fallen into an illusion, he could not control them for too long. If he were to undo the illusion, these 8 sages of the Dragon Tribe would definitely attack him. It seems that I have to find a way to completely seal their power and make them lose all their power. Then, they will not be able to cause any trouble. Thinking of this, Xia Ping immediately asked the system, "System, do you have any spells that can seal the power of these sages of the Dragon Tribe so that they have no power and can't struggle?" To answer the host, there are a total of 3,673 methods, but the most suitable for the host is the 6-path sealing technique. The system replied, "This is a supreme sealing technique. It uses the 6-path laws as the foundation to form a sealing formation. At its peak, even gods and demons can be sealed into mortals and reduced to animals. However, it also has 2 shortcomings. One is that it needs the other party to be unable to resist in order to be sealed successfully. The second is that it cannot seal experts 2 levels higher than itself." 6-path sealing technique? Not bad. This secret technique is indeed not bad. Hearing these words, Xia Ping's eyes suddenly lit up. As expected of the system, it immediately found a powerful sealing secret technique that could solve the current problem. Although it could only seal people who could not resist, with his sole secret technique, Zhuangzhou's dream of butterfly, he could instantly make the enemy fall into a dream, making them unable to resist. If these 2 secret techniques were used together, they would be able to seal all the sages in this world. As for the second flaw, it was even less of a flaw. It was just a flaw that appeared because his cultivation was not high enough. If he was strong enough, this secret technique would be even more powerful. This secret skill is not bad. I'll exchange for it. Xia Ping immediately said, "Yes, host. This secret technique requires 50 hatred crystals, which have been deducted." The system said. Boom! As soon as he finished speaking, Xia Ping immediately sensed a massive information flow gushing out from the depths of his sea of consciousness. Densely packed images and all sorts of law-veined patterns emerged. Vaguely, he sensed a 6-pointed star symbol appearing in the depths of his sea of consciousness. It was as if the 6 corners represented the 6 realms' power, which was unfathomable. I see. This is the 6-Da sealing technique. After receiving the system's enlightenment, Xia Ping immediately mastered this supreme sealing secret technique, the 6-path sealing technique. This saved him countless years of effort in cultivating the secret technique. He was very excited. This was indeed an extremely powerful sealing secret technique. Once hit by the 6-path sealing technique, No matter how strong one's cultivation was, they would be sealed into a mortal state. Moreover, without his permission, no sage would be able to touch such a seal, because this sealing secret technique had already penetrated the other party's soul. If it was forcibly removed, it would definitely cause the other party's soul to collapse. What are you doing? Yi Mengyao, who was next to him, looked at Xia Ping curiously. She saw that Xia Ping seemed to be forming a seal with his hands, and a hexagonal formation appeared in the void. It seemed to emit an unfathomable aura, as if it was the source power from the depths of hell. Vaguely, a trace of palpitation welled up in the depths of her heart. It seemed that this hexagonal formation represented the essence of the law of the universe, pointing directly to the essence of the great Tao. I'm using a sealing technique to completely seal the cultivation of these 8 dragon sages and reduce them to mortals. This way, it'll be easier to torture them. Xia Ping replied while casting the 6 paths sealing technique. Bang bang bang. In the blink of an eye, one spell after another was cast, and suddenly, densely packed 6 runes instantly sank into the bodies of these 8 dragon sages, seeping into the depths of their souls. Soon, a mysterious and complicated 6 paths formation appeared in their bodies, and dense chains of laws gushed out, completely sealing their bodies in an instant. What? Yi Mengyao was shocked. She could not believe her eyes, because she clearly sensed that after these 8 extremely powerful dragon sages were covered and sealed by this formation, their aura rapidly weakened, and finally degenerated to the state of mortals, unable to use any magic power in the depths of their bodies. In this way, they really degenerated to the state of mortals. Why did you seal their cultivation? Although Yi Mengyao was a little surprised that Xia Ping knew such a supreme sealing technique, she also knew that the universe was very big, and there were all kinds of secret techniques emerging one after another. It was not strange at all for such a sealing secret technique to appear. She was just curious as to why Xia Ping would waste so much effort to seal these dragon sages. Now that these dragon sages were already under Xia Ping's control, if the other party posed a threat, he could just kill them on the spot. Why waste so much effort? Because I want to find out information about the dragon realm from their mouths. Xia Ping replied. You want to use them to enter the dragon realm? Yi Mengyao immediately understood what Xia Ping was thinking. She shook her head and said, That's impossible, stop dreaming. There were people who once tried to capture some giant dragons to find the specific location of the dragon realm. But it was of no use at all. If anyone dared to enter the dragon realm, they would immediately be found out by the old antiques of the dragon clan. At that time, they would be instantly killed by the old antiques of the dragon clan. Anyone who trespassed into the dragon realm would die. Do you think that no one knows the specific location of the dragon realm after so many years? In fact, that's not the case. It's just that the dragon realm does not allow any life forms of other races to enter, so it's useless to know. She came from a super race and joined the All Saints Palace, so she naturally knew a lot of top-secret information. I already know the specific location of the dragon realm, and I also have my own way to sneak in. Now I just want to find them to understand the specific situation of the dragon realm, so that I don't know anything after entering. Xia Ping smiled slightly. You found a way to sneak into the dragon realm? Hearing this, Yi Mengyao could not help but be shocked, looking at Xia Ping in disbelief. Chapter 24:15. In fact, Yi Mengyao did not doubt Xia Ping's words because this guy was a cunning and shameless liar. If he really found a way to sneak into the dragon realm without being found out by the old antiques of the dragon realm, it would not be incomprehensible. However, if this was true, then this guy was really incredible. Because there were many precious treasures in the dragon realm that could not be found in the outside world. Every time the treasures of the dragon realm appeared in the outside world, countless sages would fight over them. Therefore, if one could master a way to sneak into the dragon realm, it would be equivalent to finding an amazing way to make money. This was like the ancient Silk Road. If one could master this way, it would be easy to become a top tycoon in the universe. Bang! After completely sealing the 8 dragon sages, Xia Ping snapped his fingers and instantly let them out of the illusion. Immediately, they woke up one by one. What's going on? Where is this place? Didn't I just fight that damn human sage for 300 rounds and was about to kill him? Why am I here? The group of dragon sages were a little confused because in their minds, they should still be in the middle of a fierce battle with Xia Ping. Moreover, they had the upper hand and were about to force the damn human sage into a desperate situation. However, just as they were about to succeed, space-time suddenly changed, and they suddenly appeared in a strange place. This was really unusual. Damn it, no, we fell into this bastard's illusion and fell into an illusion. One of the ancient middle stage dragon tribe's saints shouted. It immediately came to its senses. It was clear that it had fallen into an illusion just now. He immediately saw Xia Ping standing in front of him with a faint smile on his face, and he could not help but be shocked. He was a sage from the Middle Ages who had comprehended the law of time. Yet, he was able to fall into an illusion without making a sound. Just how terrifying was that soul illusion just now? Even a sage from the Middle Ages couldn't resist it. Illusion? No way, I'm an ancient sage. How could I fall into that human's illusion without a sound? You're right, this is impossible. How could such a ridiculous thing happen? I didn't feel anything at all just now. Damn it, my power, where's my power? Why has it all disappeared? I'm even weaker than a mortal now. What's going on? Are we still in an illusion? If that's not the case, why don't we have the slightest bit of power? We can't mobilize any power of laws at all. The eyes of the 8 dragon sages revealed extremely shocked expressions. It was simply unbelievable because they realized that they had completely lost their power. This was even more shocking than when they realized that they had fallen into an illusion. Falling for an illusion might be a moment of carelessness, but if one lost their power, they would lose everything. In the Dragon Clan, they would become a true cripple. This was something they could not accept. All of the sages of the dragon race were struggling with all their might, trying to activate the power of the bloodline within their bodies. However, it was to no avail. They could not activate any power at all. It was as though they had never existed in the first place. Damned human, what have you done to us? What happened to our bloodline power? Where did it go? The 8 dragon saints were both shocked and furious. Stop struggling. You've been reduced to mortals after being hit by my 6 Dao seal. Without my permission, you'll be like this for the rest of your lives. Xia Ping stood with his hands behind his back. If you know what's good for you, listen to my orders obediently and tell me everything you know about the dragon realm. Maybe you'll have a chance to restore your power. You want to know about the dragon realm? What exactly do you want? An ancient dragon sage stared at Xia Ping. He felt that this human was extremely strange and had ill intentions. Such a person must be a huge threat to the dragon realm. You don't need to know that. You just need to tell me what you know. Xia Ping said indifferently. Stupid human. You want us to betray the dragon clan? Dream on. That's right. Even if we encounter any torture, we will not reveal any information about the dragon realm. You want to hurt the dragon clan? Unless you want to step over our corpses. Don't even think about getting a single piece of information from us. The 8 dragon sages sneered. They were very stubborn. They would not betray the dragon clan even if they died. They're so stubborn? Xia Ping was a bit surprised. He didn't expect these dragons to rather die than submit. Xia Ping, don't ask. They won't say anything even if you ask. Yi Mengyao said, rumor has it that all the dragons of the dragon clan have signed a mysterious ancestral dragon contract with the dragon realm. No dragon can reveal any information to the outside world. If anyone spits out half a word, they will be killed by the power of the contract. Even if they go to the end of the universe, they won't be able to escape the power of the law of cause and effect. That's why every time we capture a dragon, we can't get even half a word from them. Even if some dragons can't withstand the torture and spit out half a word, they will be killed by the power of the contract. There's such a thing? No wonder all of you look like you'd rather die than submit. So you'll die if you say anything. I thought you dragons weren't afraid of death. Xia Ping touched his chin. Damn human, why are you looking at us with such disdain? Even without the existence of this contract, we would never reveal any information about the dragon realm. Seeing Xiaoping's eyes, the 8 dragon sages seemed to have been greatly insulted. They were filled with grief and indignation. Human, since you know about the contract, you should know that you won't be able to get any information from us. Why don't you just let us go? We're of no value to you. One of the dragon clan's ancient saints suggested, and if you continue to imprison us, sooner or later our patriarch will know that we're imprisoned and sealed. At that time, I'm afraid you'll be hunted down by the entire dragon clan. Even the human clan won't be able to protect you. There was a hint of threat and intimidation in his tone. You don't need to worry about that. But since you can't say anything, doesn't matter. I have other ways to get what I want to know from you. Xiaoping smiled. What? The 8 saints of the dragon clan were shocked. What other tricks does this strange human have up his sleeves? With a swoosh, Xiaoping immediately took out a supreme treasure, the Book of Cause and Effect. Chapter 24:16. What are you trying to do? The 8 dragon saints were terrified. They instinctively sensed that something was wrong, because this strange book seemed to be emitting an extremely ominous aura, causing them to feel palpitations in the depths of their hearts. Yi Mengyao also blinked her eyes. She could also see that this was an extremely powerful magic treasure. It was different from ordinary saint artifacts. It seemed to contain a mysterious power. You'll know soon enough. Xiaoping smiled. He reached out with his hand and instantly slapped the bodies of the 8 dragon sages. In an instant, strands of their souls were extracted from their bodies. Boom! In the next second, the pages of the Book of Karma flipped and instantly devoured the 8 strands of soul energy. He now recalled the various magical powers of the Book of Karma. Ability 1, Omniscient Everything. As long as a strand of the soul of a living being was devoured by the Book of Karma, it would be able to know all the information and memories of this living being. There was a saying in hell. Once one was in the Book of Life and Death, then one's life and death would be controlled by oneself. Once the soul was devoured by the Book of Karma, all the information would be recorded in the Book of Karma. The power of karma would be generated between the 2 parties. Life and death would be controlled by the Book of Karma. Even if one already had an immortal body, as long as one gently swiped on the Book of Karma, no matter how powerful the living being was, they would die of old age. Unless they were not recorded in the Book of Karma, or their names were removed from the Book of Karma. Only then could they truly transcend and not be controlled by the Book of Karma. Walala, immediately, the Book of Karma kept flipping. The memories from the 8 dragon saints instantly poured into the Book of Karma. A huge amount of information was recorded in an instant. What happened? The 8 dragon saints were terrified to the extreme. They sensed a mysterious and powerful power that seemed to have penetrated every corner of their souls. All the memories and secrets in the depths of their sea of consciousness, even if they had forgotten them, were dug out by this power and recorded in the Book of Karma. The 8 dragon saints tried to stop it, but there was no way at all. They were now mortals and their bodies had no power at all. So that's how it is. This is the information about the dragon realm. Xiaoping suddenly understood. From the Book of Karma, he had successfully obtained the memories of the 8 dragon saints. He could be considered to have a preliminary understanding of the dragon realm. The dragon realm was an extremely large world, equivalent to a small universe. Its territory was simply boundless, reaching at least tens of trillions of light years. There were also a lot of giant dragons living in the dragon realm. Although their numbers couldn't be compared to the human race, they weren't a race with a small population either. Even though there were so many dragons in the dragon realm, they were divided into 5 major categories: elemental dragons, metal dragons, special dragons, primordial dragons, and pseudo-dragons. The so-called elemental dragon was a giant dragon that could control all kinds of natural elements, such as water dragons, fire dragons, earth dragons, gold dragons, wood dragons, poison dragons, ice dragons, lava dragons, and so on. Their bodies gathered and dispersed from their hearts, completely condensed from energy. Metal dragons referred to bronze dragons, gold dragons, diamond dragons, silver dragons, alloy dragons, and so on. Their bodies were extremely powerful and indestructible. They often appear in places where all kinds of mineral veins are formed. As for special dragons, they were dragons with all kinds of special abilities, such as fate dragons that could control the power of fate, time dragons that could control the power of time, spatial dragons that could control the power of space, dark dragons that could control the power of darkness, sky dragons that could control the power of the sky, earth dragons that could control the power of the earth, and so on. Primordial dragons were terrifying dragons that had survived since the primordial era. They had a rich ancestral dragon bloodline, and were the nobility of many giant dragons. They were above all other giant dragons. Primordial dragons were so rare that they were almost extinct. They were as precious as pandas. Basically, there weren't many giant dragons in the dragon realm that had seen primordial dragons. As for pseudo-dragons, there was no need to mention them. They were dragons with a relatively thin bloodline. Strictly speaking, they weren't members of the dragon race. They were just a species born from the erosion of the primordial dragon bloodline. However, pseudo-dragons were very numerous, far more than giant dragons. They were considered the lowest creatures in the dragon realm, and they played the role of servants to the giant dragons. Of course, there were some pseudo-dragons with amazing talent. After training, they could control power no less than that of other giant dragons. However, such pseudo-dragons were very rare, and they couldn't cause much trouble. I didn't expect there to be so many types of giant dragons. Xia Ping felt that he had learned something new. It was precisely because there were so many types of giant dragons, which led to them fighting each other for the various resources in the dragon realm. As a result, many countries were divided. For example, the Golden Nation established by the Gold Dragon, the Water China established by the Water Dragon, the Fire Dragon Cave Abode established by the Fire Dragon, the Sky Dragon City established by the Sky Dragon, and so on. These giant dragon countries often had wars. However, even though there were so many giant dragon countries, there was still a huge force that reigned over countless countries. It was the supreme organization that ruled the entire dragon realm, the Dragon God Shrine. All giant dragons that had advanced to the Sage Realm would join the Dragon God Shrine and be responsible for managing the affairs of the entire Dragon Realm. Once something big happened in the Dragon Realm, or if there was an invasion, or if there was a need to fight against other races, the Dragon God Shrine would personally come forward to mobilize and make decisions. Interesting. The strongest organization in the Dragon Realm, the Dragon God Shrine? It's a super organization that worships the ancestral dragon. It's probably similar to the human clan's All Saints Temple and the demon clan's Demon Saint Temple. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. He had a preliminary understanding of the dragon realm. Bastard, what did you do to us? How can you peek into our memories without triggering the ancestral dragon contract? The 8 dragon sages were horrified. They did not know what Xia Ping had done to them. They knew how powerful the ancestral dragon contract was. Even if there were sages who were proficient in soul secret techniques and tried to peek into their memories through their souls, they would be immediately discovered and stopped by the ancestral dragon contract. In serious cases, they would even be attacked by the supreme power of karma of the ancestral dragon contract, resulting in karma retribution. Even an invincible sage might not be able to resist it. However, this strange and mysterious human had taken out a strange book that could bypass the ancestral dragon contract and directly peek into their soul memories. This was simply unbelievable. This has nothing to do with you. Anyway, I've already learned what I want to know from your soul memories. Your only role now is to do manual labor. Obediently stay in this place and be slaves. Xia Ping waved his hand and immediately called the green bull over. He took the 8 dragon sages who were going crazy and made them work in the space of the Mountain River Pearl. Anyway, the Mountain River Pearl was opening up elixir fields everywhere, so he needed these giant dragons to do manual labor. Chapter 24:17. Seeing this, Yi Mingyao's expression became extremely strange. She knew how terrifying these 8 dragon sages were. Among them, 3 were medieval sages, 2 were near ancient sages, and the remaining 3 were sages at the peak of the immortal realm. Such a terrifying Sage Realm dragon was actually captured by this bastard, and not only did he not cherish it, he even dragged it down to this place to work as a laborer, plowing the fields. If this matter were to spread out, who knew how many people would be scared to death? This was simply a waste of talent. Making a dignified dragon sage work as a laborer? What kind of joke was this? I heard that you obtained a dragon with star core? After sending off the few dragon sages who were going crazy, Xia Ping turned around and looked at Yi Mengyao. That's right. By chance, I obtained a dragon with star core in a certain relic. If you need it, I can give it to you. Although Yi Mengyao didn't want to part with the dragon with star core and felt that it was her opportunity, if it wasn't for this bastard, she wouldn't have been able to keep her life, let alone obtain the dragon with star core. Therefore, she felt that it was not a pity to give it to Xia Ping. I do need this dragon with star core. It is very important to me, Xia Ping said. However, I am not the kind of person who would take things by force. I have a treasure that can be compared to the dragon with star core. Perhaps I can exchange it with you. A treasure that can be compared to the dragon with star core? Hearing this, Yi Mengyao was indeed very surprised. There were actually not many treasures that could be compared to the dragon with star core in this universe. That's right. With a wave of his hand, Xia Ping took out an ageless fruit and a spatial fruit. This is an ageless fruit. After consuming it, even a lightning tribulation realm cultivator will be able to swiftly advance to the sempiternal realm, increasing their chances of transcending their lightning tribulation by 50%. Even if an immortal realm sage takes it, it will be greatly beneficial. It can save you hundreds of millions of years of time and effort in condensing magic power, allowing you to quickly advance to the peak of the immortal realm. And this is a space fruit. It contains a huge fragment of the origin source law of space. After eating it, you can quickly comprehend the origin source law of space and increase the chance of advancing to the immortal realm by 50%. What? Hearing this, Yi Mengyao couldn't help but be shocked. She looked at the two exotic fruits in Xia Ping's hands in disbelief. If what this bastard said was true, then these two exotic fruits were indeed very valuable. They could be compared to the dragon with star nucleus, or even more valuable to some extent. After all, even if she obtained the dragon with star core and devoured it, she might not be able to reach the near ancient realm. But after consuming this space fruit, there was actually a 50% chance of leveling up. Not only that, he could also take the opportunity to comprehend various laws of space. Just what sort of opportunity was this? Just what sort of treasure was this? If news of this heavenly fruit were to spread, countless sages would go crazy. To be honest, Yi Mengyao was indeed tempted. She looked at Xia Ping and said, "This heaven and earth exotic fruit is indeed enough. But why don't you use such a precious heaven and earth exotic fruit yourself?" At this moment, she also somewhat understood why Xia Ping's advancement speed was so fast. A large part of it was due to the effects of these heaven and earth exotic fruits. Otherwise, how could he improve so quickly? Don't worry. I have plenty of these exotic fruits. It's nothing. Xia Ping said carelessly, indicating that he had a pile of such heaven and earth exotic fruits on him. Because he had the help of the world tree, every time he killed a sage, he could refine a corresponding heaven and earth exotic fruit. By devouring the sage's source energy, he could strengthen himself. To the outside world, such heaven and earth exotic fruits were naturally very precious and rare. But to him, they were indeed common things on the street. Hearing this, Yi Mengyao's mouth twitched. She gritted her teeth. No wonder this bastard was so generous. It turned out that these things were all common things on him. This was like exchanging carrots for gold. But even so, she still wanted to trade. After all, although these heaven and earth exotic fruits were common things to this kid, to the outside world, they were indeed treasures that could be compared to the dragon with star core. This is the dragon with star core. Now, it belongs to you. Yi Mengyao immediately took out a fist-sized azure stone from her space ring. The azure stone was densely packed with rule patterns. Vaguely, there seemed to be a powerful dragon hiding in the deepest part of the stone, emitting terrifying dragon might and twisting the space. At the same time, the stone also contained an extremely large amount of star energy. Although the dragonwood star core was only the size of a fist, if the power inside the dragonwood star core were to be completely detonated, even a star region might be destroyed. That would be no less than the explosion of a super sun. Okay, these two fruits belong to you too. Xia Ping casually tossed the immortal fruit and the space fruit to Yi Meng Yao. I'm going to train in seclusion. After receiving the two fruits, Yi Meng Yao immediately planned to train in seclusion. She needed to recover from her injuries as soon as possible, and eating the immortal fruit was just right for that. At the same time, she might even be able to use the immortal fruit to advance to a higher level, which would allow her to improve by leaps and bounds. Whoosh! At that moment, Xia Ping's body flashed and he immediately appeared in front of Dumbo Gaia. Brother, what's this? At that moment, Dumbo, who was still in a deep sleep, seemed to have sensed the enormous energy of the dragonwood star core and woke up immediately. She stared at the azure dragonwood star core in Xia Ping's hand with a longing look. This is the dragonwood star core, a rare treasure of the universe. It should be of great benefit to your growth. Xia Ping smiled. He had obtained the dragonwood star core to give to Dumbo to help her grow. After all, Dumbo was Gaia. As long as she had enough resources, she could grow quickly. He had also learned a lot about Gaia through the All Saints Palace. It was said that to speed up Gaia's growth, all she needed was to devour all kinds of star cores. The more energy, the better. Once she devoured enough star cores, Gaia would be able to skip the near ancient realm, middle ancient realm, immemorial ancient realm, and directly advance to the Archean ancient realm. Her body would then form a world that contained the complete laws of the universe. This was a powerful talent of the Gaia clan. Thank you, brother. Little Dumbo was very excited. She took it and swallowed the dragonwood star nucleus in one gulp. It felt like she was eating a steamed bun. Boom! In an instant, the enormous energy of the star core surged into Dumbo's body, causing the Gaia space in Dumbo's body to undergo earth-shaking changes. Xia Ping, who had signed a contract with Gaia, seemed to have received the same benefits. The enormous energy of the star core surged into his body like a tide. Chapter 24:18. This energy is truly enormous. Xia Ping's eyes lit up. He could feel the extremely pure astral energy coming from Dumbo Gaia's body. This was only a portion of the dragonwood star core's energy. However, even if it was just a small portion of the energy, it was enough to save him millions of years of effort in condensing magic power. It was no wonder that when this dragonwood star nucleus appeared, even the saints of the Middle Ages wanted to snatch it. This was indeed an extremely precious treasure that everyone coveted. He could feel his magic power rising steadily, as though he was about to ascend to the pinnacle of the near-ancient intermediate stage. At the same time, the golden crow of hell cells in his body were also awakening. It could be said that his strength was improving at a speed visible to the naked eye. As for Dumbo Gaia, who had devoured most of the dragonwood star's energy, the benefits were even greater. In the perception of Xia Ping's divine sense, the Gaia space in Dumbo's body seemed to be expanding rapidly, constantly opening up a space in the depths of chaos. In an instant, it was more than 10 times larger than before. At the same time, the dragonwood star core seemed to contain many cosmic laws and star laws. After being devoured by Dumbo, they were all integrated into the Gaia space. I see. Xia Ping was enlightened. He also understood why the star core was so important to Gaia's growth. It was not an exaggeration to say that it was the most precious food. That was because every star core was the most precious essence of a planet. It contained a vast amount of information about the laws of the world. For other living beings, this information about the laws of the universe was just an opportunity to comprehend it. However, it was different for Gaia. She could directly devour the star core, devour the energy within as well as all sorts of cosmic laws, and make them her own. This saved him a lot of effort in comprehending the laws of the universe and sped up Gaia's growth. It seems that after devouring this dragonwood star core, Dumbo's strength will increase by leaps and bounds. If there is a chance in the future, I will need to collect a large number of star cores. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. He felt that collecting star cores through the All Saints Temple was a good idea because he was worried that he could not spend the points he had. However, after devouring the dragon with star core, Gaia fell into a deep slumber again. This was a common occurrence for Gaia. Their slumber usually lasted for tens of thousands of years. For them, time was just a concept. There was no limit to their lifespan. A few days later, Xia Ping had finally devoured the pure energy he had obtained from the dragon with star core. His magic power and cultivation base had improved by a large margin, and he seemed to be on the verge of stepping into the peak of the near-ancient mid-stage. Perhaps after a while, he would have the opportunity to break through to the late near-ancient realm. In truth, in the past few days, he had not only been consolidating his cultivation base and devouring the energy of the dragon with star core, he had also been cultivating his cloning technique. At this moment, he had finally produced his third clone, Gaia's clone. This was a powerful avatar from the Gaia bloodline. Is this Gaia's bloodline in power? Xia Ping closed his eyes and immersed his consciousness into the Gaia avatar. It was as if he had transformed into a newly born Gaia, becoming a member of the strongest race in the universe. My God, this power, is this Gaia? He clenched his fists and felt the abundant power in his body. It was an unprecedented feeling of power. A light punch was enough to shake the void. Most importantly, his body seemed to have produced a Gaia world. It was vast, at least 10 light-years in diameter. However, this Gaia world was a new world, and the various universal laws had not been completely perfected. Even so, he could feel the boundless potential of his inner world. Is this Gaia's ability? Xia Ping continued to explore and immersed himself into the Gaia avatar. Immediately, he obtained a lot of information about Gaia. Race, Gaia Ability 1, Inner World. This is a world that Gaia was born with. It has the complete laws of heaven and earth and can give birth to real life. This is a living space, almost unique. Ability 2, Gaia's Guard. All living creatures that die in this Gaia world will have their souls integrated into the Gaia world. Their souls will be engraved with Gaia's imprint and be bound by Gaia forever. If the dead soul is strong enough, it can survive in the void of Gaia and become a hero spirit. This way, it can still have the power it had when it was alive and become Gaia's guard, protecting the Gaia space. Ability 3, 3 calamities and 9 disasters. Born proficient in the power of calamities and understand the universal laws of calamities. It can even control the power of natural disasters at will, triggering various universal disasters. As expected of the strongest race in the universe. It actually has so many incredible abilities. Xia Ping was amazed. He felt that he had only just begun to understand Gaia's power. It was far more powerful and unbelievable than he had imagined. Ignoring everything else, just the second ability alone made him feel like it was a godlike ability. If there were some relatively powerful creatures, such as sages, they would turn into hero spirits after they died. They would be controlled by Gaia and become Gaia's loyal guards. In other words, as long as Gaia lived long enough and the life it gave birth to was strong enough, it would be equivalent to having countless powerful warriors and guards. Even if there was only one Gaia, it could become a super race. If there were dozens of ancient Gaias, it would be dozens of races. Furthermore, it would control an army of nearly undying hero spirits. Its strength was terrifying. Therefore, Gaia was considered the strongest race in the universe. No one dared to provoke it. This was the true saying that one person was a race. It seems like Gaia avatars have endless potential. I need to nurture them well. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. He had already given birth to 3 avatars. They were the Gaia avatar, the Infernal Golden Crow avatar, and the World Tree avatar. Each avatar was sufficiently powerful and had their own abilities. Also, he had killed quite a number of near-ancient sages this time. Through the World Tree, he had refined a large number of spatial fruits, allowing the 3 avatars to advance to the near-ancient realm. Their strength had increased by several times. Master! At this moment, the primordial heavenly dragon talisman's artifact spirit, Ao Wu's voice sounded. After several days of searching, I have finally found a way to sneak into the dragon realm. I believe that as long as you enter this path, even the old antiques of the dragon race will not be able to discover you. However, this is a temporary path. You have to enter within a day. Otherwise, this path will disappear completely. You have to hurry and enter the dragon realm. Alright, lead the way. Xia Ping naturally did not hesitate and immediately took action. Chapter 24:19. Sush. Xia Ping immediately left the Mountain River Pearl space and set off for a place in the Dragon Realm according to the primordial heavenly dragon talisman artifact Spirit Ao Wu's instructions. However, this nameless sea region seemed to be peaceful for the past few days. There were no dragon sages. The dragon sages probably did not even realize that some of the dragon sages had disappeared and been captured. After all, there was not much fighting in this sea region, so there were not many traces left. Furthermore, to the dragon sages, it was common for them to enter a certain cave and sleep for hundreds of years before waking up. Therefore, many sages in the dragon realm did not think much of their disappearance. They thought that the dragon sages had left the dragon realm to train in other stellar domains. If they were really discovered, all the sages in the Dragon Divine Hall would probably be furious. After all, it was an earth-shattering matter for their sages to be captured alive. Yes, this is the place. Head this way. Ao Wu directed Xia Ping in the direction he was heading. Xia Ping activated the Hell Golden Crow's eyes and saw through all illusions. He immediately followed the direction Ao Wu was pointing and saw a tiny spatial rift that seemed to lead to the dragon realm. Swoosh. His figure flashed and he instantly left the spot and entered the spatial rift. Is this the place? Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. After passing through the spatial rift, he seemed to have passed through thousands of layers of dimensional space and finally neared the dragon realm. He saw the vast dragon realm appear before him. It was like an ancestral dragon that traversed the entire universe, exuding an endless aura and majesty. The entire dragon realm seemed to emanate a scorching aura, like a blazing sun, emitting billions of scarlet rays that penetrated every corner of the void. Any living being that approached the dragon realm could feel the vastness and grandeur of this world. There seemed to be no end to it. It was like a small universe. That's right, Master. Head this way. Although the dragon realm is huge and is covered in dense universe laws, making it almost perfect, there will occasionally be some temporary flaws. Although they are quickly repaired, this is a great opportunity for us to sneak into the dragon realm. The primordial sky dragon artifact spirit, Ao Wu, explained as he guided Xia Ping. So that's how it is. There is indeed a hidden path here. Following Ao Wu's direction, Xia Ping's infernal golden crow eye looked down, penetrating countless obstacles and reaching the surface of the dragon realm. He saw a tiny spatial crack. If not for the primordial sky dragon talisman, it would have been impossible to find such a spatial rift. This was because in such a massive dragon world, such a rift could not be discovered even if one looked carefully with the naked eye. Thinking of this, he did not hesitate at all. He instantly arrived at the spatial rift and entered the dragon realm. Boom! In the blink of an eye, Xia Ping vanished into the dragon world. Not even the dragon folk old-timers in the Dragon God Shrine could detect a single trace of him. It was because the dragon realm was just too large, its territory boundless. Even if they were constantly monitoring it, there was no way they could be completely thorough. There would always be times when they overlooked something. Is this the dragon realm? With a whoosh, Xia Ping entered the dragon world. He found himself in a dense forest. Trees that were thousands of meters tall grew everywhere. They were lush and full of life. The ground was also covered with weeds. At this moment, it was as if he had entered a kingdom of giants. Everything began to grow larger. At the same time, he felt that the entire dragon realm was filled with malice toward him. It was as if the dragon realm itself possessed a powerful and terrifying will that could suppress all foreign creatures. He would not even be able to use 80% of his strength in the dragon realm. It can actually suppress the power of outsiders? Xia Ping could not help but be a little surprised. He did not expect the dragon realm to have such a restrictive nomological force. All living creatures without the dragon bloodline would be suppressed by the nomological force when they entered the dragon realm. It was the same even for invincible sages who entered the dragon realm. It was as if they were constantly fighting against the entire world. It could be said that the dragon realm was an extremely xenophobic world. It never welcomed other creatures. Boom. But at that moment, an extremely massive dragon power surged out from the depths of the primordial heavenly dragon talisman. It was the power of an extremely ancient sky dragon. It immediately surged into Xia Ping's limbs and bones. This also filled Xia Ping's body with the power of the primordial heavenly dragon. It was as if every corner of his body was filled with the power of a dragon. Immediately, he sensed that the malice that the entire dragon realm had towards him had disappeared. Replacing it was full of kindness. A powerful dragon power surged in from all directions. It was as if he was enlightened. It helped him quickly condense his dermic powers. His combat strength increased by 30%. It was as if he was the son of destiny in this world. He was favored everywhere. Holy shit, the difference between the two is too great. This is discrimination. The corner of Xia Ping's mouth twitched, and his face was gloomy. The status of an outsider and the status of a dragon were two completely different treatments. This was blatant discrimination. Outsiders had no human rights in the dragon realm. Such an increase in power and a decrease in power gave the dragons an advantage in the dragon realm. It was impossible for other foreign creatures to invade the dragon realm. The primordial heavenly dragon talisman actually has such an effect? Xia Ping had not expected that the primordial heavenly dragon talisman could actually bestow him with the power of a primordial heavenly dragon, filling his body with the power of a dragon. This way, he could deceive the will of the dragon realm and make the dragon realm admit that he was a part of the dragons. This way, he would not be ostracized and filled with malice. It had to be said that this was indeed very beneficial for him to travel in the dragon realm. Otherwise, if he was targeted by the will of the dragon realm, it would probably be very difficult for him to travel. After all, such an anomaly would be very conspicuous in the dragon realm. He would be discovered by the dragon race sages in no time. Oh right. Ao Wu, how do you intend to devour the dragon realm source energy? Is there anything I can help with? Xia Ping asked. His main goal in entering the dragon realm was to help the primordial heavenly dragon talisman recover its peak power. His secondary goal was to obtain large amounts of treasures in the dragon realm. He remembered very clearly the difference between the primary and secondary. Actually, the method to devour the dragon realm source energy is very simple. As long as I stay in the dragon realm, I will naturally be able to devour the source energy scattered in the air. Upon hearing Xia Ping's words, Ao Wu said in a low voice, "But this method is really too slow. Even after 1,000,000 years, I may not be able to recover to my peak." Chapter 2420. Other than this, are there any other methods? Xia Ping looked at Ao Wu and asked. Although 1,000,000 years was nothing to a sage and could pass by in the blink of an eye, it would be even better if he could speed it up. Moreover, he could not possibly stay in the dragon world for 1,000,000 years. Most importantly, the abyssal demons could attack at any time. He had to be vigilant at all times. Of course, the method I mentioned just now is the safest. The other dragon sages won't know about it and will silently restore the primordial heavenly dragon talisman to its peak power. Ao Wu said, other than that, there are two other methods. The first is to find a dragon vein. There are many huge dragon veins in the dragon world, and they contain extremely pure energy. If I can devour a few dragon veins and obtain their energy, I will be able to speed up my recovery and not waste my time here. But this method also has a flaw. Basically, every huge dragon vein in the dragon world already has an owner and is occupied by the dragon sages. If you want to steal the energy of the dragon veins, you will definitely clash with the other dragon sages. That is indeed a little dangerous. What about the second method? Xia Ping looked at Ao Wu. He also knew why Ao Wu said that this method was very dangerous. This was the dragon world. The dragon sages living in the dragon world were all interconnected. Attacking one would provoke a whole group of them. And he was just an outsider without any help. It was very easy for him to be surrounded and attacked. If he provoked some old antiques of the dragon race, he might not even be able to escape from this place. Therefore, this method also had a certain degree of risk. The second method is very simple. That is to devour dragon crystals. Ao Wu said in a low voice. Dragon crystals? Xia Ping's eyes lit up when he heard that. After obtaining the memories of the 8 dragon sages, he naturally knew what dragon crystals were. They were actually the main currency in the dragon world. Basically, every giant dragon used dragon crystals to buy all kinds of daily necessities and treasures. And dragon crystals were energy crystals formed from the dragon world's energy. If he devoured them, he would definitely be able to rapidly restore the primordial heavenly dragon talisman's strength. Therefore, to put it simply, he needed to spend a lot of money to restore the primordial heavenly dragon talisman. Then how many dragon crystals do you need to restore your peak power? Xia Ping asked. 100 billion. I only need 100 billion dragon crystals. Ao Wu blinked his innocent eyes. 100 billion? Hearing this, Xia Ping almost spat out his saliva. He was dumbstruck because this was simply an astronomical figure. In the dragon realm, the purchasing power of dragon crystals was very strong. One dragon crystal could buy a lot of things, enough for a family of 3 to live for 3 months. In fact, he had obtained quite a lot of dragon crystals from the space rings of the 8 dragon sages he had captured. However, there were only 130 million dragon crystals in total. It was already so difficult for even sage-level dragons to obtain dragon crystals, let alone other dragons. Of course, the dragon crystals in the space rings might not be their entire wealth. Most of their wealth was left in their nests. Even so, 100 billion dragon crystals was enough to make a primordial dragon go bankrupt, let alone other dragons. Ordinary dragons would never be able to earn so many dragon crystals in their entire lives. Xia Ping was dreaming if he wanted to earn 100 billion dragon crystals in a short period of time. Seems like robbing a dragon meridian is faster. He rubbed his chin and thought about the possibility of robbing other dragon sages. Any random dragon meridian would probably be worth more than 100 million dragon crystals. However, this was a little risky. If he was not careful, he would be ganged up on by the dragon sages. However, he had Zhuangzhou's dream butterfly secret technique. As long as he was careful, he could instantly control those dragon sages and then seal them. It was guaranteed that they would not be able to escape even if they wanted to. Seems like I need to understand the situation around here. See what this place is and where the dragon meridian is? Although Xia Ping had obtained the memories of the 8 dragon race sages, it was only their memories. The entire dragon world was vast and boundless. Even the sages would not be able to know everything, no matter how big or small. Therefore, he decided to go to the nearby city to understand the situation. What is this? Suddenly, Xia Ping's heart skipped a beat. He used his golden crow's hell eye and immediately saw a strange flower growing in the middle of a valley in the distance. The flower was transparent and had no shape. Dense spatial law patterns appeared on the leaves, exuding a strong spatial aura. There seemed to be profound spatial runes flowing in the depths of the flower. Just by looking at it, the flower seemed to contain a boundless void. It was as if each leaf represented a small kiliacosm. No way, this is an invisible flower? Oh my God, this is indeed the dragon realm. I've only just arrived and I actually encountered this almost extinct invisible flower? At this time, the green ox jumped out and shouted excitedly. It immediately recognized the origin of the flower. What is an invisible flower? Xia Ping asked curiously. This is a strange flower that contains the power of the spatial law. It is almost extinct in the universe. It is said that it can only be born by absorbing the power of the void. The green ox immediately said, if a sage eats an invisible flower, they can immediately comprehend the profundities of the spatial law and even turn their body into a spatial body. Because of the formless flower's powerful effects, countless immortal sages fought over it. Over time, the formless flower went extinct and never appeared in the universe again. Invisible flower. Hearing this, Xia Ping finally understood why the invisible flower went extinct. It could actually help immortal sages comprehend the spatial law and step into the near-ancient realm. This way, which immortal sage wouldn't go crazy? It was only natural for them to be robbed clean. Master, it is said that the black hole worm used to be a companion of the invisible flower. If we can obtain this invisible flower and give it to the black hole worm to nurture, it might be able to produce a second or even a third. The green ox said excitedly. There's such a thing? We can't miss out on such a spirit herb. Otherwise, we'll be struck by lightning. Xia Ping nodded. His figure flashed and immediately appeared in the valley. He stretched out his hand, wanting to pluck the invisible flower. Stop. At this time, an angry roar came from the depths of the void, shaking the space and emitting dense killing intent. Chapter 24-21. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. In an instant, 3 dragon sages appeared in the distance. 2 of them were peak immortal dragon sages, while the other was early ancient dragon sage. They seemed to have taken human form. They were tall and had 2 purple dragon horns on their heads. Dragon scales covered their bodies and they emitted faint draconic aura. In fact, this was how many dragons lived in the dragon world. For the sake of convenience, they would usually transform into their human forms. They would only transform into their true dragon forms when they were in battle. The 3 sages of the dragon clan were holding on to a little dragon clan Lolita who was about 5 or 6 years old. She looked so cute and adorable that one would feel pity for her. As expected of the fate dragon. This is a dragon species favored by destiny. The near-ancient realm early-stage dragon saint laughed out loud in excitement. I heard that there might be a great opportunity in this valley, and it really did appear. It's as if the gods are helping us. Isn't that so? This is the famous formless flower. It contains the precious origin of the law of space. If we auction it, it'll be worth at least tens of millions of dragon crystals. An immortal dragon tribe holy sage said excitedly, under normal circumstances, invisible flowers are almost impossible to detect as they are in a transparent state and are isolated from divine sense detection. Sometimes, even if you pass by the invisible flower, you won't be able to detect it. I didn't think we would find them. This is like a pie falling from the sky. We're rich. We're really rich this time. I didn't think a random valley would have such a precious spirit herb. Another immortal dragon sage was also excited. This is all the power of destiny. If we use this power well, we might be able to surpass the immortal dragon realm in the future. It stared greedily at the little lowly dragon that was caught beside it. Clearly, this little lowly dragon was not with them. She was captured and seemed to be the famous fate dragon. This was a special dragon species in the dragon realm and was extremely rare. However, this little lowly dragon did not seem to be afraid at all. Instead, she looked at Xia Ping curiously and sized him up. Her big eyes seemed to flicker with a mysterious light. Dragon trafficker? Xia Ping was also very surprised. He did not expect that there would be a dragon trafficker in the dragon world. Furthermore, the other party was a dragon saint. It was really unbelievable. As a sage, there was nothing they couldn't do to earn dragon crystals. They didn't expect that these 3 fellows would do something like selling giant dragons. They were really a disgrace to sages. Wait, there seems to be a dragon in this valley. Damn it, we ran so fast, but the others still caught up to us. So what if we're the first to arrive? Once we kill this kid, won't the invisible flower belong to us? That's right. This treasure belongs to us. No one is allowed to take it away. These few dragon sages were engaged in a heated discussion. Obviously, they had also noticed Xia Ping, who had been standing next to them for a long time. Their pupils immediately contracted, and their bodies exuded a threatening aura. Kids, scram right now. We are interested in this invisible flower. The saint of the dragon clan, who was in the early ancient realm, stepped out. He snorted coldly and stared at Xia Ping with a murderous look. He was incomparably domineering. The moment he opened his mouth, he wanted to take the invisible flower for himself. Because a treasure like this was related to his future achievements. He couldn't give it to others. I want it. Moreover, according to the principle of first come, first served, no matter how I look at it, you won't get a chance. Xia Ping said indifferently, looking at these saints of the Dragon Clan. Shut up. What first come, first served? Which bastard came up with this principle? What a joke. I can't understand such a principle. I've never even heard of it. Kid, I have to teach you the principles of the Dragon Clan. A peak immortal realm saint sneered. In the dragon world, the strong are respected. Only those with bigger fists are the hard truth. I don't care if you're here first or later. As long as we want you, this invisible flower will be ours. If you dare to snatch it, you'll be the enemy of the three of us. You'll be killed without mercy. You'll die without an intact corpse. Do you understand? A thick murderous aura surged out of his body. He didn't even try to hide it, and just threatened Xia Ping. Why are you talking nonsense with him? Let's cripple this kid first. Let him know the principles of the dragon world. He wants to snatch the invisible flower from the three of us? He really doesn't know how to spell the word death. Another peak immortal realm saint of the Dragon Clan was extremely irritable. Without saying a word, he immediately rushed towards Xia Ping. A terrifying dragon aura burst out, shaking the entire forest and the void. The other two saints of the Dragon Clan didn't want to be outdone. The moment they finished speaking, they also attacked in two different directions, trying to kill Xia Ping in an instant. Now, not only did they want to get the invisible flower, but they also wanted to kill Xia Ping and rob him. They wanted to kill Xia Ping, who had come out of nowhere. Then they would get another windfall. It seemed like today was an opportunity to kill two birds with one stone. The strong are respected, huh? This law of the jungle suits me very well. In that case, all of you can fall into the illusion world. Secret soul technique, Zhuang Zhou's dream of butterfly. Xia Ping waved his hand. He liked the attitude of these saints of the Dragon Clan the most. Therefore, he wouldn't hold back for even a moment. In an instant, a powerful spiritual energy gushed out from his body. It seemed to turn into small blue butterflies, covering a radius of hundreds of light years in an instant. These blue butterflies were condensed from the power of the soul. They seemed to be able to travel through the three realms, and no space and time could stop them. Boom! Suddenly, just as the three saints of the Dragon Clan moved and came to his side, the void distorted. An unbelievably huge wave of illusion instantly penetrated into the depths of their souls. What's going on? The three saints of the Dragon Clan were shocked. At this moment, they actually felt a strong sense of drowsiness. With a bang, they couldn't withstand the power of the secret soul technique at all and fell into the illusion. They couldn't get out of it in a short period of time. Not bad. Another three saint slaves of the Dragon Clan. The more idiots like them, the better. Xia Ping casually grabbed the three saints of the Dragon Clan and threw them into the space of the Pearl of Mountain and River. At the same time, he also placed 6 seals on the saints of the Dragon Clan. In an instant, these saints of the Dragon Clan were reduced to mortals, unable to use any power. Next, he looked at the little lowly dragon who was still standing on the ground and looking at him curiously. Even when she saw the saints of the Dragon Clan being easily defeated and captured on the spot, she didn't panic at all. It was as if everything was under her control and nothing unexpected happened. Chapter 24-22. Aren't you afraid? Xia Ping looked at the little lowly dragon curiously. What's there to be afraid of? Fate guided me here to find you. If you come to me, you will be safe, and the bad guys who hurt me will also suffer. The little lowly dragon said. Her voice seemed to form a strange resonance with heaven and earth. Vaguely, Xia Ping seemed to have a karma connection with this little lowly. A line of karma that even the soul couldn't perceive connected the two. If he didn't have the book of karma, he probably wouldn't be able to perceive such an abnormality. Xia Ping was expressionless. He reached out and hit the little lowly dragon's head. Suddenly, the little lowly dragon couldn't help but cry out in pain. Bad guy, what are you doing? Why did you hit me? She looked at Xia Ping angrily. It seemed that she didn't expect this guy to dare to do this. I just want to ask, Did fate tell you that I would hit your head? Xia Ping touched his chin. He felt that this little lowly dragon was very strange. She seemed to have some incredible ability. And just now, those dragon sages seemed to call her the Dragon of Fate, which sounded very special. Could it be that this little lowly had something to do with the power of fate? How could fate care about such a small thing? You bad guy, do you know whose head you are hitting? I am the great dragon of fate, the great holy dragon who controls the fate of all beings. Sooner or later, I will also become the master of the dragon god shrine. Why don't you hurry and worship me? The little lowly dragon was so angry that she glared at Xia Ping. But Xia Ping was expressionless. He hit her head again, causing her to scream in pain. The little lowly dragon still wanted to stare at Xia Ping, but seeing Xia Ping's appearance, she immediately followed his heart. Sorry, I was bragging just now. In fact, I am a divination dragon. I only know some vague paths of fate. I rely on guessing all my life. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's okay. You can still be saved if you know you are wrong and change. Xia Ping was very satisfied and touched the little lowly dragon's head. By the way, I still don't know your name. Betty, you can call me Betty, the dragon of fate. Then, sir, what is your name? The little lowly dragon asked curiously. Well, you can call me Master Potato. Xia Ping rubbed his chin and decided to give a fake name. Master Potato? What a strange name. Forget it, can I ask you for a favor? The little lowly Betty looked at Xia Ping eagerly. What is it? If it's too difficult, I'll definitely refuse. Xia Ping said. No, it's not difficult at all. In fact, those big baddies didn't just capture me, they also captured many of my companions. Right now, all of them are imprisoned in a spatial magic treasure on them. I hope to rescue them all. The little lowly long Betty said. There are other dragon whelps? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. It seemed that the dragon sages just now were a group of dragon traffickers. Not only did they capture this little lowly dragon, but they also captured other young dragons. With a whoosh, he scanned with his divine sense and immediately found a spatial magic treasure hidden on one of the dragon saints. He immediately destroyed the spiritual imprint of this magic treasure and took it for himself. Sure enough, there were 6 or 7 dragon whelps imprisoned in this spatial magic treasure. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Xia Ping waved his hand and immediately released the 6 or 7 dragon whelps imprisoned in the spatial magic treasure. Suddenly, 4 little lowly dragons and 3 little dragon whelps appeared on the ground. Oh my god, we're finally released. Where did those bad guys go? Why can't I sense their aura? Look, it's Boss Betty. Boss is fine. She was right, we'll be rescued soon. That's great. The disappearance of those bad guys proves that Boss has taken care of them. The few dragon whelps were so excited that they danced and pounced on the dragon of destiny Betty. What are you yelling about? You're already a big dragon, and you don't know shame at all. Why are you yelling over such a small matter? You should be more mature, understand? Betty acted like a mature adult. But this could not hide the joy on her face. By the way, boss, who is this adult dragon? The little lowly dragon also noticed Xia Ping, who was standing next to her. Ahem, let me introduce you. This is the adult martial dragon that saved us. Betty pointed at Xia Ping. Hello, thank you for saving us. I am Mabel, the memory dragon. A little lowly dragon introduced herself. She wore a pair of large glasses and had a ponytail. She held a large book in her hand and looked very intellectual. I am Tadish, the cloud dream dragon. This is my twin sister, the sleeping dragon Constance. A little lowly dragon in a white dress introduced herself. She pointed at the little lowly dragon who looked almost identical to her and was sleeping soundly on the ground, indicating that she was her sister. As a sleeping dragon, her sister spent most of her time in a sleeping state. I am Caesar, the time dragon. A shy and introverted little dragon said. He looked at Xia Ping curiously. His pupils were very special, as if they contained an ancient clock. I am Wales, the slow dragon. A little dragon in a black dress stuttered, as if he could not even speak properly. Woo, I am Austin, the gluttonous dragon. A little dragon with a mouth full of delicious food slurped down. It seemed that even though he had been caught, he was still eating. Oh, there's one more. Why don't you introduce yourself? Xia Ping raised an eyebrow. There's no more. These are all the young dragons. Betty blinked. What are you talking about? What's up with the one standing behind me, the one who seems to want to hit me with a stick? Xia Ping casually made a grabbing motion and immediately pulled out a Lolita dragon wearing a white dress from the void behind him. The Lolita dragon was originally transparent, but after being caught by Xia Ping, she immediately revealed her body. She kept struggling in midair. Baddie, you big baddie, let me go. The lowly dragon was dancing in the air. It seemed that no one had ever treated her like this before. She had never been discovered so easily. She was going crazy. Betty seemed very shocked. She did not expect Xia Ping to discover the lowly dragon's existence. She immediately said, "Don't attack. This is our companion. She is the invisible dragon, Khalida." Hearing this, Xia Ping threw the invisible dragon lowly, who wanted to hit him with a stick, to the ground. The fall seemed to crack her butt. Chapter 24-23. How did you discover my existence? The invisible dragon Khalida suddenly stood up from the ground and looked at Xia Ping in shock. As an invisible dragon, she was born with the ability to blend into the void without emitting any space-time fluctuations. Even a giant dragon that had reached the sage realm might not be able to discover her. Moreover, due to her young age, this ability would automatically appear from time to time, causing her to often disappear in front of other giant dragons. Her sense of existence was extremely weak. She had even activated an invisible force so that even her voice could not be transmitted out of this dimension. This also caused other giant dragons to be unable to discover her existence at all. She could only be alone in a corner. But now, someone could actually discover her existence immediately. Not only was she not angry, but she was also extremely surprised. It was as if she had finally found her companion. Nothing can hide from my eyes. Do you understand? Xia Ping smiled slightly. The invisible dragon's power was indeed power. It was simply the power of laws that could blend into other dimensions without emitting any space-time fluctuations. Even if ancient sages appeared in this place, they might not be able to discover the invisible dragon's traces. But even so, his golden crow's hell eyes could see through all dimensional things. Even the traces of the invisible dragon were no exception. This was an even higher level of ocular power. Are they all special dragons? Xia Ping looked at these young dragons. According to the memories of the dragon sages that he had obtained before, he also understood why those dragon sages would capture these young dragons. It was because they were all special dragons with special abilities. The so-called special dragons were considered extremely special existences among the many giant dragons. They had all kinds of incredible abilities. However, special dragons were not inherited by bloodline. They purely relied on genetic mutation. Even a giant dragon with the lowest bloodline could give birth to a special dragon if they were lucky. Therefore, the birth of special dragons was random and unpredictable. It was true that for the Dragon God Shrine, every special dragon was an extremely precious resource that was worth cultivating. However, not every giant dragon thought so. In particular, some giant dragons with ulterior motives coveted the bloodline power of these special dragons. They could use special methods to extract the abilities of these special dragons and transplant them into their own bodies. It was conceivable that some special dragons without any background would end up tragically if they were targeted by WMs with ulterior motives. They would die without a burial place. Of course, this practice was illegal in the dragon realm and was strongly prohibited by the Dragon God Shrine. Once discovered, the lightest punishment would be imprisonment or death. However, there was a saying in this world. What was illegal? If someone found out, it was illegal. But if no one found out, it was legal. Moreover, the dragon realm was too big. Even though the Dragon God Shrine was a super organization, it could not extend its tentacles to every corner of the dragon realm. Many dark things would happen in the dragon realm every moment, and the dragon god shrine could not stop them. Transactions that involved the sale of special dragons were also carried out all the time. But these special dragons are not simple. Xia Ping stroked his chin. This Betty claimed to be the dragon of destiny and had mastered the power of destiny. She could see the trajectories of the fates of countless living beings and, to a certain extent, even peek into the future. Just this Mabel was the dragon of fate. She had the power of fate and could see the fate of countless creatures. To a certain extent, she could even see the future. In addition, Mabel, the memory dragon, had a strange and powerful support ability. It could change the memories of many creatures on a large scale. It could be said that if Mabel grew up, she would be able to change the memories of others at will. In other words, she could replace someone's identity at will. If she wanted to, she could easily become the ruler of a country or the master of a super organization with the power of changing memories. No one would doubt her. If she wanted to deal with her enemies, she could make them lose their memories at will. She could even make them her slave and inject a lifetime of loyalty to her. Even Xia Ping was afraid of Mabel's ability. Even if this ability could not deal with him, it could deal with his family and friends. It was impossible to defend against. Invisible Dragon Kalida's ability was so powerful that even ancient sages could not find her. Moreover, she was only a young dragon. If she became an adult, she would be even more powerful. Using this ability, becoming a legendary assassin in the universe would be a piece of cake. If she wanted to, she could even enter the treasure vaults of powerful organizations and take all the treasures. The sleeping dragon, Constance, was also a special dragon. She had the power to put countless beings to sleep, and her body was constantly emitting the power of sleep. If she were to mature, she could put all beings in a galaxy to sleep with just a thought, and even the sages would not be able to withstand it. It was a strange power that could permeate the laws of the universe. The Dreamcloud Dragon Tadish was a special dragon that had grasped dream force. It could enter the dreams of other living beings at will, reaching the realm of killing people in their dreams. If these two special dragons worked together, they would be invincible. Even the masters of illusion in the universe would not be able to do so. One could only imagine how terrifying these two special abilities were. Other than these few lowly dragons, there were 3 other dragons. For example, Time Dragon Caesar. He seemed to have control over the power of time and could enter the dimension of time at will. He was born with control over the flow of time and could even jump through time. It was hard to imagine what kind of existence he would be at his peak. There was also Slow Dragon Whales. He seemed to have the power to slow people by more than 10 times. Even sages could not avoid it. Even the space-time domain could not withstand it. This was a very powerful support ability. If he appeared on the battlefield and used the power of slow, the enemy would probably be dead. With their speed slowed by more than 10 times, how could they fight? They would all be waiting for death. There was also the gluttonous dragon Austin. He did not seem to have any special characteristics. The only special characteristic was his almost bottomless appetite. It seemed like he could eat as much as he wanted. This characteristic was similar to Tao Tai. Of course, his specific ability still had to be unearthed. It was not clear yet. Regardless, the special abilities of these young dragons were very scary, and they had endless potential. No one knew where these dragon sages found these special dragons. If they were really sold, their value would be extraordinary. They could be sold for an astronomical amount of money. Chapter 24-24. Alright, I have a rough idea of your situation. After hearing this, Xia Ping nodded. You are all young dragons that were kidnapped by bad dragons. If that's the case, you may leave. We will meet again. What do you mean? You're letting us go? Betty and the other young dragons widened their eyes. They did not expect the adult dragon in front of them to not have any ill intentions after knowing that they were special dragons. Instead, he let them go. Of course I'm letting you go. Otherwise, you won't be able to stay by my side. I can't afford to raise you young dragons. Moreover, I have important things to do. I don't have time to accompany you young dragons. Xia Ping said in disdain. He had important things to do in the dragon world. He had to plunder all kinds of treasures. He did not have time to accompany these young dragons. Wasn't he bringing a bunch of burdens with him? Scumbag dragon. Fate Dragon Betty spat at Xia Ping. This is the wilderness. There are no dragons anywhere. As an adult dragon, you actually want to abandon us young dragons in this place. Are you even a dragon? Do you have any conscience? She glared at Xia Ping. The other young dragons immediately hugged Xia Ping's thighs and refused to let him go. They knew that if they wanted to leave this wild forest alive, they could only cling to this guy's thighs. No matter what special powers they had, they were still young dragons. They had not grown up yet. If they encountered any ferocious beasts, they would probably be eaten in one bite. If they encountered any bad guys, they would probably be captured again. What's wrong? Are you trying to extort money from me? Xia Ping was speechless. He saw the young dragons hugging him. It was obvious that they wanted to cling to him. I don't care. Anyway, we're following you. You can't abandon us. Moreover, we're very useful. I promise we won't cause you any trouble. Fate Dragon Betty patted her chest. The other young dragons nodded vigorously like chickens pecking at rice. Tell me, what's your use? You're only useful for getting food and drinks. What other use can you have? Xia Ping looked at the young dragons in disdain. If I'm not wrong, you want to find a dragon's vein. Suddenly, Fate Dragon Betty looked at Xia Ping. That's right. I do want to find a dragon's vein and devour its power. Xia Ping rubbed his chin. He didn't expect Betty to see through his intentions. He clearly didn't say anything. Could it be that this was the unfathomable power of fate? Ha, I was right. Fate Dragon Betty said proudly, if you can temporarily protect us and provide us with basic necessities, I can use the power of fate to help you find a dragon vein. In order to express my sincerity, I can provide you with information regarding the dragon's vein for free. The bad dragons that you captured just now are actually members of an extremely powerful bandit group nearby, the Black Wind Stronghold. These bandit dragons were extremely powerful. It was said that their master was a black dragon, and his strength had reached the Middle Ancient Realm. He had several dozen near Ancient Realm dragons and several hundred sempiternal realm adult dragons as his subordinates. It was precisely because of this power that they occupied a huge dragon vein and were even able to stand up to more than a dozen nearby cities. They had also become a great threat to the surrounding areas. If you can kill those Black Wind Stronghold dragons, you will definitely be able to obtain the dragon vein. I can also guarantee that no other dragons will come looking for trouble with you. She looked at Xia Ping eagerly. Interesting. You want to use my power to help you deal with the Black Wind Stronghold and take revenge? Xia Ping immediately smiled. This Lolita dragon was quite scheming. She knew that she couldn't deal with the Black Wind Stronghold with her current strength, so she wanted to use the power of an adult dragon. Moreover, based on the powerful strength he had displayed just now, this Betty seemed to have confidence in him. Perhaps she had peeked into a certain future from the River of Fate. I can't deny that I do have such thoughts. But this is also very beneficial to you, isn't it? Of course, if you aren't willing, I can find other ownerless dragon veins. This is my sincerity. Fate Dragon Betty said in a low voice. I have to say, your words have moved me. I do need a dragon vein, and being able to be used by other dragons is also where my value lies. Xia Ping nodded. In other words, you agree to my conditions? Fate Dragon Betty looked at Xia Ping in surprise. Although she looked very calm, she was still a dragon whelp. Negotiating with an adult dragon was very stressful. Moreover, she also felt that her power of fate seemed to land on this strange adult dragon, but it was useless. It was as if the other party's future was nothing. This was the first time she had such a feeling. There was actually a dragon whose fate could not be peeked into. Therefore, she felt that this adult dragon in front of her must be very special and definitely not ordinary. That's right. With such abilities, you are indeed worthy of me protecting you for a period of time. However, all of you must listen to my orders. Otherwise, I will throw you out immediately. Understand? Xia Ping looked at the group of dragon whelps. Understood. The group of dragon whelps nodded vigorously. They were very obedient. Then can we eat now? The gluttonous dragon Austin blinked his big eyes and looked at Xia Ping. His stomach sounded like it was beating a drum at this moment, letting out a rumbling sound. The other dragon whelps seemed to be starving as well. Obviously, the group of dragon traffickers would not treat them so well. They were always full and hungry. Their lives were very miserable. Hearing this, the corner of Xia Ping's mouth twitched. He had not even started and this group of dragon whelps was already extorting him. It seemed like they were treating him as a long-term meal ticket. Alright, if you're hungry, then let's eat. Xia Ping waved his hand and immediately took out a large amount of food from the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers. There were all kinds of ferocious beast meat, golden corn, crystal rice, and other spirit herbs. There were also many spirit fruits. Fortunately, he had already raised a Taotai with a huge appetite in the space of the pearl of mountains and rivers. It was not much pressure to raise these dragon whelps. If it was a normal person, they would probably have been eaten. Oh my God, what is this food? It smells so good. This is unprecedented food. We have never seen it before. Where did you get it from? It's delicious. It's really delicious. What kind of meat is this? It actually melts in the mouth. I guess only the aristocratic dragons in the city have the right to eat it. When the group of dragon whelps saw Xia Ping take out piles of food that formed a small mountain, they were extremely excited. Their eyes were completely lit up like light bulbs. They could not wait to pounce on the food and gobble it down. It was like a tornado. Chapter 24-25. A majestic palace was built at the top of a mountain range. It was filled with a murderous aura. There seemed to be a huge dragon vein lying dormant in the depths of the mountain range. The surroundings were filled with the rich energy and aura of the dragon world's origin. This made the entire mountain range full of vitality and lush vegetation. This place was the Blackwind Stronghold's base. Many elites of the Blackwind Stronghold were gathered inside the palace. Their leader, Black Dragon Basta, was sitting on the throne. He emitted a terrifying dark aura that distorted the space around him. It was currently in a very bad mood. The robber dragons present were all shivering in fear, afraid that they would accidentally offend this black dragon that had reached the Middle Ancient stage and bring about a fatal disaster. Some dragons had offended the black dragon and ended up being eaten by it. One could imagine how ferocious the black dragon was. It was definitely an evil dragon that could intimidate millions of light years away. What's going on? Black Dragon Basta's eyes shone with a cruel light. Where did Garak and the other two pieces of trash go? According to the plan, they should have brought those special dragons back to the Blackwind Stronghold 3 days ago. But now, where did they die to? They actually disappeared without a trace? Don't tell me they ran away with that group of special dragons? He suspected that his 3 trusted subordinates had already betrayed him. Those special dragons were too valuable. Each of them was worth a lot and could be sold for at least a few million dragon crystals, especially that dragon of destiny. If it was auctioned in the underground market, it would not be impossible for it to be sold for hundreds of millions of dragon crystals. After all, such special dragons were too rare. They might not appear even once in a billion years. As the saying went, the rarer something was, the greater its value. One could imagine how precious the dragon of destiny was. It was definitely priceless. If those idiots chose to betray the Blackwind Stronghold because of the value of these special dragons, it would not be impossible for them to do so. Chief, Garak and the other 2 probably don't have the guts. You should believe in their loyalty. Some robber dragons that were familiar with Garak and the other dragons could not help but speak up for them. Bullshit! Black Dragon Basta shouted angrily. In the face of an astronomical number of dragon crystals, I don't believe that any dragon would be loyal. They were indeed loyal before, but that was only because they did not pay the price of betrayal. Clearly, if those special dragons were auctioned off, the dragon crystals that could be obtained would be enough to pay such a price. Damn you, Garak, don't let me, Basta, find you 3 traitors. Otherwise, I'll make sure you die without a burial place. Even the resurrection of the dragon god won't be able to save you. Its anger erupted to the extreme, killing intent rushing into the heavens. This was simply unprecedented rage. The betrayal of the three Black Wind Stronghold confidants had caused Pastita to suffer heavy losses. Who knew how many years it would take and how many dragons it had to rob to recoup this loss? If Jirak and the other two still dared to appear in front of it, they would definitely be torn into pieces. The other robber dragons lowered their heads and didn't dare to say anything. In fact, they were thinking the same thing as their boss. There had been no news for 3 days. If they hadn't betrayed their master and taken all those special dragons away, this wouldn't have happened. If they had the same opportunity, they would probably make the same choice. Because if they continued to be the underlings of the Black Wind Stronghold's master and risked their lives everywhere, how many years would it take for them to earn so much money? Indeed, as their leader said, they didn't betray before and showed a look of loyalty. This was only because the value of betrayal wasn't great enough. Convey my orders. Immediately send the Black Wind Stronghold brothers to search the countless cities within 1,000,000 light years. If they can find the whereabouts of Jirak and the other two idiots, immediately report to me and kill without mercy. Black Dragon Basta shouted angrily. Yes, leader. Many robber dragons answered in unison. They knew that this was the price of betrayal. Whoever dared to betray Black Dragon Basta would be hunted for eternity until death. Even if they died, they wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Their corpses would be dug out, their tendons pulled out, and their flesh eaten raw. There's no need to search anymore. I've already killed those dragons. At this moment, there was a distortion in the void. Immediately, a young man walked out from the depths of the void. He appeared directly in front of the many dragons and looked down at the Black Wind Stronghold dragons indifferently. Moreover, this young man also had 7 or 8 dragon whelps with him. They were strong, not afraid at all. They looked at the Black Wind Stronghold dragons curiously. This young man was obviously Xia Ping. Under the guidance of Betty, the Dragon of Destiny, he finally arrived at the Black Wind Stronghold after spending 3 days. After sensing the general situation of the Black Wind Stronghold, Xia Ping did not say anything and directly killed his way into the stronghold. With his current strength, he was no longer afraid of the Black Wind Stronghold dragons. What kind of dragon are you? Black Dragon Basta's pupils shrank. He couldn't help but feel shocked. This was because the Black Wind Stronghold's lair had been managed like an iron bucket by him. He had set up powerful restrictive formations everywhere, which could seal off time and space in all directions. Any enemy invasion, any rustling of grass in the wind, absolutely could not be hidden from him. However, this kid in front of him could actually sneak into his Black Wind Stronghold without a sound. How did he do it? Chief, look, it's that group of special dragons. A bandit dragon immediately noticed the dragon whelps beside Xia Ping and could not help but shout. Seems like it's just as you said. Jirak and the other two idiots have died in your hands. Black Dragon Basta's expression was gloomy. However, you're quite bold. You killed the dragons of my Black Wind Stronghold, but not only did you not run away, you even dared to kill your way into my Black Wind Stronghold. What are you trying to do? Seeing the traces of these dragon whelps, he already knew that his 3 trusted subordinates did not betray him. Instead, they were killed by this mysterious young dragon in front of him. If that was not the case, why would this group of special dragon whelps appear here? However, the more it was so, the more he was afraid of this mysterious young dragon who suddenly appeared. If it wasn't for his boldness and skill, if it wasn't for his absolute confidence, how would this brat dare to appear in his Black Wind Stronghold? How would he dare to be so brazen? He believed that there were idiots in this world, but he did not believe that he would be so lucky to meet such an idiot. Without a doubt, this kid did not come with good intentions. What are you trying to do? Of course, I'm going to annihilate the Black Wind Stronghold. Xia Ping smiled slightly, and a terrifying force immediately erupted from his body. A powerful space territory instantly covered the entire Black Wind Stronghold. Such a space territory was like a projection of the world descending. All the dragons of the Black Wind Stronghold could feel an almost suffocating aura. It was as if the time and space around them had frozen and eroded everything. No power could shake it. Chapter 24-26. You want to slaughter the Blackwind stronghold? You're courting death. Black Dragon Basta roared furiously. A terrifying space-time domain erupted from his body. This was the Dragon Domain. Terrifying black energy instantly corroded everything within a radius of hundreds of millions of kilometers. Vaguely, a dragon's roar erupted from the depths of the void, shaking the space-time and distorting the laws. It immediately caused Xiaoping's space domain to tremble, and it seemed to crack slightly. Just this power of space-time alone far surpassed that of ordinary Middle Ancient saints. As expected of the Dragon Clan, their talent was astonishing, and their battle prowess was off the charts. How dare you come to our Blackwind stronghold and behave atrociously? You must be tired of living. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Go to hell. I'll send you to meet the god of the underworld now. The many Blackwind stronghold bandit dragons were not to be outdone. All of them gave off ferocious expressions and attacked at the same time, unleashing terrifying magics at Xiaoping. In an instant, thousands of terrifying energy torrents poured down like rivers of laws, piercing through space-time and erupting with extremely terrifying destructive power. Slow. Before Xiaoping could make a move, Wales, the slow dragon beside him, made his move. A gray slow domain emanated from his body, instantly covering the entire Blackwind stronghold. Under the effect of the slow domain, the thousands of energy torrents slowed down by more than 10 times. Even the movements and consciousness of the giant dragons slowed down. Even Black Dragon Basta, who had reached the Middle Ancient realm, was slightly affected. Seeing this, Xiaoping raised his eyebrows. The special ability of the slow dragon was indeed unimaginable. It had not even reached the sempiternal realm, but the power it unleashed actually contained the might of laws. Even saints could not avoid being affected. Of course, because the slow dragon whales was too young and weak, it could only affect them for a second. Even so, this ability was quite terrifying. In a battle between sages, 1 second was enough to determine the outcome of the battle. If Wales was an adult, he would probably be able to affect the enemies on the battlefield in an instant. Damn it! The many giant dragons of the Blackwind stronghold were shocked and furious. This detestable special dragon actually dared to attack them. It was practically seeking death. However, this power was also extremely special and powerful, greatly affecting them. All of them circulated the dragon power in their bodies, trying to break free from the restraint of the slow force. At that moment, the sleeping dragon Constance made her move as well. The sleeping field emanated from her, and it was a field of extreme darkness that covered the entire Blackwind stronghold in an instant. The dragons of the Blackwind stockade immediately felt their minds go blank. They felt extremely sleepy, as if they would fall into a deep slumber in the next second. Intrusive dream. Dream Cloud Dragon Tadish formed a seal with both her hands, and a transparent dream dragon emerged from her body. These dream dragons existed between the real and the illusory, shuttling back and forth in the depths of the dimension. These dream dragons instantly pounced on the bodies of the Blackwind stockade dragons, attempting to penetrate their souls and drag them into their dreams. In the dream, she was the master, a truly invincible master. Black Dragon Roar. However, at that moment, the ancient Middle Realm Black Dragon Basta let out a furious roar that shook the heavens and the earth. This was a dragon roar that contained the power of space and time. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, the surrounding void distorted and all the laws shattered. The slumber domain, the dreamland domain, and the deceleration domain were all shaken to the point of collapse. Although these special powers were very strange and powerful, they were still very weak in the face of absolute power. They could not stop the ancient Middle Realm Black Dragon Basta at all. All of a sudden, the dreamy Cloud Dragon, the Sleeping Dragon, and the Slow Dragon were sent flying. They hid behind Xiaoping and were incredibly frightened. Their power was simply unable to restrain the other party. The difference between the two sides was just too great. You whelps simply don't know what's good for you. How dare you attack the great Black Dragon Pastor? I'll capture all of you later and torture you for 7 days and 7 nights. A terrifying dark aura exploded from Basta's body. This dark aura seemed to have a life of its own, corroding everything. The dark space-time field constantly corroded the void. It seemed like this power was even corroding Xiaoping's space field. However, Xiaoping's space field was too strong and extremely sturdy, like a spatial wall. Even after expending a great deal of Basta's strength, it could not corrode much space. Dark explosion. However, Basta was even more furious. He used all his strength and punched out. Terrifying dark space-time power instantly exploded, producing extreme destructive power. Under this punch, even a planet would be destroyed and turned into cosmic dust. Die. Coming to the Black Wind stronghold is your greatest misfortune. Kill these guys. The other dragons of the Black Wind stronghold also attacked at the same time, displaying their terrifying divine powers. It seemed like the surrounding hundreds of millions of kilometers were filled with destructive waves. Even if a spatial storm erupted here, it would not be much. So scary. Fate Dragon Betty and the other young dragons were all terrified when they saw this. They were just young dragons. They had never seen adult dragons fight to the death like this. Every punch and kick contained violent divine powers and power of laws. The surrounding void was filled with terrifying killing intent, penetrating souls and piercing through space-time. If they were not protected by Xiaoping, they would have been torn to pieces by this violent power. Even though they were special dragons with infinite potential, they were still nothing if they did not grow up. There had been countless special dragons in history, but there were still very few special dragons that could truly grow to their peak state. It could be said that they could be counted on one hand. Karma barrier. Xiaoping did not even look at it. He immediately took out his book of karma. Immediately, a transparent barrier surged out from his body. It was entangled with the power of karma, forming an absolute barrier that covered all directions. This. Fate Dragon Betty's eyes widened in shock. She could feel the power of fate and karma from it. This was even more profound than the power of fate that she had. It seemed to have seeped into the essence of the laws of the universe. Boom. At this moment, Black Dragon Pastita and the hundreds of dragons from the Black Wind stronghold rushed over. It was like thousands of volcanoes erupting, like countless floods crashing into each other, like billions of stars shattering, and all of them poured onto the karma barrier. The surrounding space continuously trembled, and explosions rang out. The entire Black Wind stronghold continuously swayed. Hundreds of shocking cracks appeared, and the ground collapsed. Chapter 24-27. What? Impossible? In the next second, Bardas and the other dragons from the Black Wind stockade widened their eyes in disbelief. This was because they realized that when their attacks landed on the mysterious dragon's body, they were actually blocked by the thin, transparent barrier. The strange transparent barrier looked very thin, as if it would break with a single touch. However, when the violent torrent of energy bombarded it, it was like a world barrier. No matter how hard they tried, they couldn't break through the barrier at all. What shocked them even more was that the power they bombarded was actually reflected by the strange transparent barrier. Moreover, it was reflected along the way. Damn, this is too shameless. How can there be such a shameless divine ability in this world? Is there any reason? Black Dragon Bardas and the other dragons' faces turned green. They were scared half to death. Just now, they had risked their lives to attack. Even a middle ancient dragon could be killed, or at least heavily injured. Now, this power could actually be reflected. How could this not be? Wasn't this asking for their lives? However, it was too late even if they wanted to run now. The speed of the rebound was too fast. It was twice the speed of their attack just now. How could they escape? Rumbles in an instant. Thousands of torrents of laws crushed over and bombarded Black Dragon Bardas and the other dragons. They were all heavily injured in an instant, and they couldn't help but let out shrill cries. The entire Black Wind Stronghold's palace was torn apart by this power, causing it to collapse. The surrounding restrictive formations were instantly shattered, and the mountains collapsed. Even the ground nearby had cracks that were thousands of kilometers long. Smoke and dust were everywhere, and there was a loud rumble. So powerful! Destiny Dragon Betty and the other young dragons looked at Xia Ping with admiration. They had never seen such a powerful adult dragon. To be honest, Black Dragon Bardas was like an ultimate boss to them. They couldn't beat him at all. He was a mountain that they couldn't shake. But now, such a terrifying Black Dragon Bardas was easily defeated by this adult dragon. One could imagine how much they admired Xia Ping. It was simply indescribable. Bastard, damn it. At this moment, Black Dragon Bardas and the other giant dragons struggled to climb up from the gravel. They were shocked and angry at the same time. They were seriously injured and a large amount of blood spurted out from their bodies. Although the attack just now was very terrifying at the critical moment, they still relied on their rich combat experience to immediately neutralize the force so that they did not suffer fatal injuries. He's still alive? You do have some ability. Xia Ping raised his brows. He had no intention of stopping and immediately used his divine art. Soul's secret technique, Zhuangzhou dreams of butterflies. Boom! In the blink of an eye, the surrounding space distorted. This was an illusory realm domain that was more than 1,000 times stronger than the sleeping dragon and the dreamy cloud dragon. It silently permeated the space in all directions. Thousands upon thousands of azure butterflies appeared. They were situated between the real and the illusory. They immediately entered the bodies of Black Dragon Bardas and the other bandit dragons, seeping into the depths of their souls. What? Damn it. This is the power of illusion. It is more than 1,000 times stronger than the dreamy cloud dragon. Stop. Stop immediately. Do you know what kind of dragon I am? You actually dare to attack me. Black Dragon Bardas and the other giant dragons were already in a state of serious injury. They were caught off guard and fell into the world of Zhuangzhou's dream butterfly. They thought that they had turned into butterflies and completely lost their consciousness. With a few thuds, they immediately fainted on the ground and lost the ability to resist. Such powerful dream force. The two little Lolas, dreamy cloud dragon and the sleeping dragon, looked at Xia Ping with admiration. They could sense that this was an even higher level of dream force. It was far beyond their bloodline divine art. This was almost the essence of the illusory law. Although they naturally grasped the power of dream force and dream force, cultivators who comprehended the illusory law through arduous cultivation would definitely not lose to them. They only had a further starting line than the others. It would still be extremely difficult to reach the finish line. Not bad. This time's harvest is not bad. Xia Ping grabbed with his hand and immediately used the 6-Dao sealing technique to seal all these robber dragons. They immediately turned into existences like mortals and lost their powers. He was reluctant to kill these sage-level giant dragons. He captured them and put them in the space of his mountain river pearl. They would definitely be excellent laborers and slaves to help him with his work. If others knew that Xia Ping had captured so many giant dragons as laborers, they would definitely go crazy with jealousy. Of course, if the Dragon God Shrine found out, he would probably be chased by all the giant dragons in the universe. What kind of dragon is this? It has the power of absolute barrier, the power of dream force, and even the sealing power of a sealing dragon. Destiny Dragon Betty was a little confused. She didn't know what kind of giant dragon Xia Ping was. Adult dragon, you are so powerful. Gluttony dragon, time dragon, formless dragon, memory dragon, and the other young dragons looked at Xia Ping with admiration. It's nothing. How can I walk in the world without some skills? However, after killing these robber dragons, all the treasures in the Black Wind stronghold will belong to us. Xia Ping touched his chin and looked around. As a famous robber dragon that shocked many cities in the surrounding millions of light years, there must be countless treasures in their lair. Treasures? Hearing this, the eyes of Destiny Dragon Betty and the other young dragons lit up, revealing the shape of gems. As giant dragons, their love for gems was simply seeping into their blood and engraved in the depths of their genes. It's here. The treasures of those robber dragons are in this place. Formless Dragon Khalida immediately shouted. As a formless dragon, she could pass through all kinds of laws and restrictions at will. There were not many things in the world that could restrain her. Therefore, she was very talented in finding all kinds of treasures, just like a treasure hunter. A group of young dragons heard this voice and ran over happily. Xia Ping also went over. With a point of his finger, he instantly broke the restriction array formation of the treasure vault and opened the door. Immediately, a mountain of gems and a large number of dragon crystals appeared in the depths of the treasure vault. Apart from that, there were also all kinds of strange and rare items from the dragon world. Oh my God, there really is a treasure vault here. How much wealth did these robbers plunder from the people? Robbing the rich to give to the poor. We are robbing the rich to give to the poor. Dream, I'm finally going to realize my dream of sleeping on gems every day. Sob, 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 it's mine. These gems are all mine. A group of young dragons pounced over excitedly. They hugged a large pile of gems with blissful expressions, as if they were about to faint from excitement. At this moment, Xia Ping arrived at the end of the Black Wind Stronghold's dragon vein. He wanted to completely devour this dragon vein. Chapter 24-28. Ao Wu, is this the dragon vein? At this moment, Xia Ping had arrived at a mountain range in the Black Wind Stronghold. His eyes pierced through the air, and he immediately saw a huge energy vein lying dormant in the depths of the mountain range. It seemed to contain a boundless amount of energy. The aura emitted by this meridian seemed to be very beneficial to the dragon race. If one stayed here for a long time, it might even be able to increase the density of one's bloodline and improve their aptitude. That's right, Master. This is the dragon vein. The primordial sky dragon talisman artifact spirit, Ao Wu, immediately jumped out. He looked at the dragon vein in excitement. Then how did you devour this dragon vein? Xia Ping asked. This is simple. Ao Wu's figure flashed, and the 3,000 primordial heavenly dragon talismans immediately entered the deepest part of the dragon vein. It was as if they covered every corner of the dragon vein. Crash! Instantly, the primordial heavenly dragon talismans produced vortexes that erupted with a devouring force. The entire dragon vein's energy was immediately devoured by the primordial heavenly dragon talisman. It surged into the depths of the primordial heavenly dragon talisman as the massive dragon vein's energy rapidly vanished. Huh! Xia Ping narrowed his eyes. He sensed that the primordial heavenly dragon talisman was transmitting massive amounts of dragon lineage energy to him. It was infused into his limbs and seeped into every cell in his body. Although most of the dragon vein energy had been devoured by the primordial sky dragon talisman to be used to repair it, a portion of the energy was still transmitted to him through the primordial sky dragon talisman. He could feel that the magic power in his body was increasing crazily, as if he had taken many peerless treasured medicines. This saved him at least 1,000,000 years of effort in condensing magic power. At the same time, strands of the dragon realm's essence energy were also strengthening his soul power, tempering his body, causing it to grow stronger bit by bit. Boom! After a full hour, the entire dragon vein had been completely devoured by the primordial heavenly dragon talisman. Not a single drop was left. Ao Wu seemed to burp and turned back into a small dragon, returning to Xia Ping's side. At this time, the entire Black Wind Stronghold mountain range had lost its spirituality from before. Most of the dragon vein energy had dissipated, and the land was withered and yellow, filled with a deathly stillness. Is this dragon vein completely dead? Xia Ping asked. No, it's not dead. The dragon vein will not die. This is a natural image created by the world. Unless the world changes, the dragon vein will not disappear. Ao Wu said, It's just that I just devoured all the energy that this dragon vein has accumulated for billions of years. If it wants to recover to its peak, I'm afraid it will need billions of years. It meant that the dragon vein was not dead, but it would take a long time for it to recover to its peak state. It was estimated that for a long time, this place would no longer be a paradise. How do you feel? Have you recovered a little? Xia Ping raised his eyebrows. I've recovered a portion. Devouring this dragon vein is equivalent to devouring 100 million dragon crystals. Upon hearing this, Ao Wu said nonchalantly, although it's just a drop in the bucket, it's still considered a meal. This Xia Ping was speechless. Devouring an entire dragon's vein was only equivalent to eating dessert after a meal. If the Black Wind Stronghold's bandit dragons heard this, they would definitely die from anger. The energy of the dragon vein that they had painstakingly accumulated over countless years had been devoured by this fellow in one gulp. This was like a poor person who had painstakingly spent decades to accumulate millions of wealth, but who would have thought that it would all be gone in one meal. The difference between people was just too great. However, it seemed that his operation this time was not bad. At least the primordial heavenly dragon talisman had recovered a portion of its power. This was also the first step of his long journey. At that thought, Xia Ping's figure flashed, and he once again returned to the Black Wind Stronghold's treasure vault. He saw that the Destiny Dragon, Invisible Dragon, Memory Dragon, and other young dragons were packing the treasure vault with all sorts of gems, dragon crystals, and large amounts of rare materials. However, they did not seem to have treasures like interspatial rings on them. As a result, even though they had gone all out, they had only managed to store a drop in the bucket. This made them very vexed. Oh my God, there are just too many treasures in this treasure vault. That's the Dragon Blood Stone, a unique gem that seems to be born after being soaked in the blood of a giant dragon. If it is integrated into a Dharma treasure, it will possess dragon might and can even increase the power of the Dharma treasure by 30%. When the green ox saw the treasures in the treasure vault, he could not help but exclaim, "That's the dragon scale armor, refined from the scales of a giant dragon. It seems to have an impenetrable defense. Furthermore, it is extremely sturdy and rare in the world. And that's the Dragon Fang Blade. It seems that sage-level giant dragons will change their teeth every million years. Those fallen teeth can be refined into sharp treasured swords that contain indestructible power. Oh my God, these materials are treasures. If they were placed in the outside world, they would definitely be priceless items. If they were sold, people would become rich overnight. The Dragon Realm is really an unparalleled treasure land." Corinne could not help but nod. He felt that the treasures in this treasure vault alone far exceeded the entire wealth of a few Middle Ancient saints. Moreover, these treasures from the Dragon Realm were basically very difficult to find in the outside world, which made them even more valuable. After all, many people hoped to collect treasures from the Dragon Realm as it was a symbol of status. Seeing this, Xia Ping waved his hand and immediately put away most of the gems and materials from the Dragon Realm in the treasury. "Hey, adult dragon, what are you doing?" "Gems? My gems are all gone." "Bad dragon, don't take away our treasures." The Dragon of Destiny Betty and the other young dragons exclaimed. They immediately realized that all the treasures in the treasure vault had disappeared and immediately cried out in alarm. They glared at Xia Ping angrily. For giant dragons, treasures were simply as important as their lives. "What do you mean by taking away your treasures? If I don't take them away, do you think you can take them away? You don't have any spatial Dharma treasures that can store these treasures." Xia Ping said eloquently. The Dragon of Destiny Betty and the other young dragons were speechless when they heard this. Indeed, they did not have any spatial Dharma treasures on them and could not take away all the treasures. If not for Xia Ping's help, these treasures would probably have been left in this place. At this moment, Xia Ping rolled his eyes and said carelessly, "By the way, do you want me to help you keep your treasures? You are still young, and with so many treasures on you, it will be easy for bad people to target and take them away. But it's different with me. I can help you avoid being taken away by other bad people. Don't worry, I can return them to you when you grow up." Chapter 24-29. Yes, the adult dragon seems to have a point. If the other bad dragons see that we have so many treasures, they'll definitely want to rob us. We won't be able to keep them. Hearing this, gluttonous dragon Austin nodded in agreement. The other young dragons also nodded in agreement. They felt that Xia Ping's words made sense. They were too young. If they were robbed by the other bad dragons, they'd be doomed. Don't believe this adult dragon. Fate Dragon Betty looked at Xia Ping angrily. What do you mean by keeping them safe for us? That's nonsense. He clearly wants to take all our treasures for himself. What do you mean you'll return them to us when you grow up? When will we grow up? If we really grow up, this bad dragon will definitely find another excuse to take our treasures. Don't worry. I'm an honest adult dragon. I won't lie to a child unless it's really valuable. Xia Ping said casually. Then he grabbed and took away all the treasures the young dragons had packed. He didn't give them a chance to object. Damn, bad dragon. Fate Dragon Betty clenched her teeth. She wanted to rush up and beat the asshole up, but after thinking about it, she realized that she wasn't this adult dragon's match. She could only hold it in for now. Right, are there any prosperous cities nearby? Xia Ping asked. He wanted to understand the situation nearby. There's White Dragon City. It's the largest city in a radius of 10 million light-years. Its master is a white dragon. Its power has reached the level of an ancient dragon. Even the Black Wind Stronghold doesn't dare to offend him. Although she was angry, Fate Dragon Betty still told Xia Ping what she knew. Okay, then let's go to White Dragon City first. Xia Ping nodded and immediately set off for White Dragon City. Just you wait. When we get to White Dragon City, I'll eat you poor. Fate Dragon Betty had a bad idea. She wanted to go to White Dragon City to eat and recoup all the losses. Otherwise, all the treasures she had would be lost for nothing. After Xia Ping and the others left for a while, the nearby dragons noticed the situation and gathered. They, too, realized that something was wrong with the Black Wind Stronghold. What's going on? Why did the Black Wind Stronghold suddenly erupt in flames and smoke everywhere? All the restrictive formations have been destroyed, and even the underground dragon vein has disappeared? Some of the sempiternal realm dragons were astonished to see this sight. That was because the Black Wind Stronghold was a famous bandit group in the surrounding 1 million light-years. Who knew how many giant dragons they had robbed? They were so ferocious that even some of the nearby cities did not dare to offend them. As the chief of the Black Wind Stronghold, Black Dragon's might was unparalleled, and he killed like flies. The Black Wind Stronghold is definitely Chu Feng's problem. Maybe he provoked an enemy and was ambushed. A sempiternal realm dragon guessed. It really is an enemy. One of the bolder near ancient realm dragons took a look and immediately cried out, Heavens, the entire Black Wind Stronghold has been destroyed. All of the restrictive formations have been destroyed, and even the Black Wind Stronghold's dragon vein has been sucked dry. Holy shit, it really is. Just what dragon did this? What deep grudge does it have with the Black Wind Stronghold? Who knows? The Black Wind Stronghold has always done all sorts of evil deeds. It's not surprising for them to provoke so many enemies. Hurry, hurry, hurry. Let's head to the Black Wind Stronghold and see if there are any treasures left behind. That's right. The Black Wind Stronghold has been a notorious bandit group for many years. Who knows how many dragons they have robbed? The wealth they have accumulated over hundreds of millions of years must be astounding. That's right. Even if it has been plundered by the other dragons, at the very least, there are still some nails left behind. Who knows, we might be able to find some treasures that were left behind. The many dragons were tempted, and they quickly approached the Black Wind Stronghold. What the heck? Screw that bastard. Just who in the world could have plundered the Black Wind Stronghold so thoroughly that not even a single nail was left behind? That guy must have gone mad from poverty. Soon, a near-ancient realm dragon cursed furiously as his face turned green. He plundered the entire Black Wind Stronghold, but found that there was not a single treasure to be found. The culprit who killed the Black Wind Stronghold seemed to be very good at plundering treasures. He had plundered the entire stronghold clean. No, this was not looting treasures. It was moving. Even some of the Black Wind Stronghold's wooden beams had been forcefully taken away. Damn it. Just how much money did that bastard need? Didn't he know how to leave behind anything valuable? The other dragons were also extremely frustrated. Not knowing what to say, they could only leave in the end. The eyes of some of the dragons in the nearby cities were sparkling with excitement. The Black Wind Stronghold is finally done for. The heavens really have eyes. Finally, there are dragons who can take care of them. Without the Black Wind Stronghold's evil bandits, our bitter days in the nearby cities have finally come to an end. No one will dare to kill us on the roads anymore. However, the Black Wind Stronghold is not a force to be trifled with. They actually colluded with many other forces. They can be considered as the black gloves of those major forces, specializing in doing dirty things. It is precisely because they have the protection of these major forces that the Black Wind Stronghold can be so fearless. Even after being surrounded several times, they can still stand tall and become one of the major forces in the vicinity. Of course, the Black Wind Stronghold's chief, Black Dragon Pastida, is not a dragon to be trifled with. His strength has reached the Middle Ancient Realm, and he has comprehended the laws of time. He is not that easy to kill either. That's right. I looked at the surroundings of the Black Wind Stronghold just now. It doesn't seem to have been damaged too much, and there aren't many traces of an intense battle. It is obvious that the Black Wind Stronghold's bandit dragons were ambushed suddenly. They did not even have the strength to resist before they were taken away or killed. Looks like the dragon that attacked the Black Wind Stronghold is very terrifying. It might have reached the immemorial ancient realm and comprehended the laws of creation. Why do we care about this? In any case, this is a matter between the big shots. It has nothing to do with us. We just need to report this news. That's right. The more we know, the faster we die. This is my experience as a scout over the years. The many giant dragon scouts discussed among themselves. They immediately left the Black Wind Stronghold and returned to their respective cities, reporting the Black Wind Stronghold to their masters. In an instant, the news of the Black Wind Stronghold's destruction spread throughout the region within a radius of 10 million light-years. It also caused a commotion among many forces. Many giant dragon scouts made their move, trying to find out which force had personally destroyed the Black Wind Stronghold. This would have an extremely profound impact on the future distribution of forces in this region. However, no matter how much they asked, they could not find any clues or information. Chapter 2430. In the space of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. At this moment, Black Dragon Pastida and the other bandit dragons finally woke up. They looked around and realized that they were in another place. What's going on? This isn't the Black Wind Stronghold. Where is this place? Have we been captured? Black Dragon Basta was taken aback. In its memory, it should have been fighting that damned mysterious dragon, but in the next second, it and its dragons appeared in this strange place. Most importantly, the surrounding energy was not the origin energy of the dragon world, but other spiritual energy of heaven and earth. This feeling made him feel very unfamiliar and uneasy. If they were captured, why didn't they seem to be chained? Could it be that the other party was so confident that they wouldn't escape after being captured? If that was the case, it would be looking down on dragons. After all, he was a medial dragon that had comprehended the law of time. Boss, this is bad. Our powers have disappeared. They've all disappeared. Oh my God, what's going on? Why can't I sense any power? At this moment, all the bandit dragons shouted. They suddenly realized that they had become ordinary dragons. Apart from the physical strength of the dragon race, they could not use any other power. The bandit dragons were horrified. A giant dragon that had lost its power was even more miserable than death. Damn it. Pasta's expression was extremely terrible. It was as if someone had stuffed a toad in his mouth. He had never been so desperate before because he also realized that he had lost his powers. As a medial dragon, he could not even mobilize a trace of magic power, let alone comprehend the law of time and space. It was as if he had returned to the age of a young dragon. No, he was even weaker than a young dragon. It was as if he had been completely deprived of his extraordinary powers. What are you arguing about? You're like a sissy. At this moment, an impatient voice called out. What dragon? Pasta and the other bandit dragons turned around and immediately saw what seemed to be a thatched cottage in the distance. There were 3 dragons lying on the ground. They seemed to have been woken up by the other dragons. These 3 dragons were Herbert and the other dragons that Xia Ping had captured into the space of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers. You're also a dragon. What is this place? Why did our powers disappear? Black Dragon Basta instinctively felt that the 3 dragons knew a lot about the situation. What is this place? This is a prison, the dragon's prison, you know? Herbert looked at Basta and the other dragons with pity. I didn't expect you to be captured as well. How unlucky. You'll probably be trapped in this prison for the rest of your lives. Also, why did the powers in your bodies disappear? The reason is very simple. The owner of this prison sealed all the WRM powers in our bodies and reduced us to ordinary dragons. Impossible. We can't use any of our power. Even the seal dragon can't do this. Who is the master of this prison? How dare he capture so many giant dragons? Isn't he afraid of angering the dragon god shrine? Black Dragon Basta was shocked and furious. It suddenly remembered the mysterious dragon that had come to the Black Wind stronghold to cause trouble for it. Could it be that the dragon was a member of some mysterious organization and had personally captured them and brought them to this place? Ignorant mortal dragon, there are many things you don't know. Even if a seal dragon can't do this, can't other life forms do it? This is no longer the dragon world. Herbert sighed. What? This is no longer the dragon world? Hearing this, Black Dragon Basta and the other dragons were shocked. They widened their eyes in shock. To be honest, this was even more shocking than when they were captured. Capturing them and leaving the dragon world without a trace was simply unimaginable. This meant that the other party had the power to hide from the dragon god shrine. They immediately felt as if there was a huge black hand controlling everything from behind. Is there no way to escape this place? Black Dragon Basta gritted his teeth. Escape? How can we escape? This is a sealed world. How can we escape from this world without our powers? Hearing this, Herbert immediately laughed. Also, so what if we can escape from this prison world? If we can't remove the seals on our bodies, we might die even faster if we leave the outside world. Giant dragons like us who have reached the Sage Realm are probably the most delicious food in the outside world, or mobile treasures. It's even possible for us to be sliced open. Black Dragon Basta and the other dragons were in despair. Indeed, if they could not remove the seals on their bodies, they would probably be ordinary dragons for the rest of their lives. Dragons that lost their powers would no longer be giant dragons. They would rather die. Alright, let's cut the crap. Those bastard supervisors will be here soon. Don't give them an excuse to cause trouble. Otherwise, both you and I will suffer. Suddenly, Herbert's expression changed, as if he sensed that time had arrived. The other 2 dragons immediately stood up with solemn expressions. Supervisors? Hearing this, Black Dragon Basta and the other dragons were dumbfounded. They did not know what they were talking about. At this moment, 3 huge figures flew over from afar. They emitted a savage aura. They were the primordial species that had reached the lightning retribution realm, the Fae, the 9-headed lion, and the crow demon bird. They looked at the group of giant dragons with arrogant expressions on their faces. You useless dragons, it seems that all of you have woken up and eaten your fill. Then cut the crap and follow me to plow the fields, plant the spirit herbs, and carry the fertilizer. If any of you dare to make a mistake and mess up my business, all of you will have to bear the consequences. The Fae stood with its hands behind its back. Since you have made me unhappy, I will make you unhappy for the rest of your lives. Lowly primordial species, how dare you speak to us dragons like this? Do you want to die? Black Dragon Basta shouted angrily. However, before it could finish its sentence, the crow-fiend bird beside it slapped its paw. With a loud bang, it instantly slapped Basta's face, causing it to swell up. Its body spun more than 10 times on the spot, making it dizzy. Shut up. The crow demon bird sneered. I don't care what your identity was before, where you came from, or what strength you have. You only have one identity here, and that is slaves. You have no rights, no wages, and you don't even have a name. You can only call yourselves by your code names here. I, the supervisor, haven't said anything, and you dare to be so arrogant. It seems that you lack a lesson. You don't have to work today. Hang me on the mountain and expose me to the sun for 3 days and 3 nights. It grabbed the black dragon Pastita like a worm and hung him on a nearby mountain, where he was exposed to the sun and rain. Chapter 2431. Black Dragon Bardas screamed in extreme pain. His body was burning with pain, and he was simply going crazy with anger. He was a primordial dragon that had comprehended the law of time. Even in the dragon realm, he was a rather powerful existence. Now, he was actually being humiliated by a Thunder Retribution realm ant. This was simply the greatest humiliation. If he could recover his strength, he would definitely kill this damned ant and destroy both his body and soul. But this was only a fantasy. The 6-path seal was far more terrifying than a sage could imagine. It contained the power of the 6 paths, reincarnation, and karma. Even if an invincible sage arrived, without Xia Ping's permission, it would be impossible to remove it. Bardas wanted to recover his power as an ancient dragon, but it was already wishful thinking. When the bandit dragons from the Blackwind stronghold saw their boss in such a miserable state, being taught a lesson by a Thunder Retribution realm ancient dragon, their hair stood on end and their bodies trembled. At this moment, they finally remembered that they were no longer the high and mighty Saint-Tier dragons. They were merely dragons that had lost all their strength, not even a strand of hair. Although these Thunder Retribution realm ancient dragons could kill a group of them with a single breath at their peak, they were just ants in this place. They had no power to resist at all. They couldn't help but look at the 3 wily dragons beside them, hoping to find a way. But Herbert and the other 2 dragons looked down as if they didn't see anything, as if they didn't know these dragons at all. For them, it was already good enough that they didn't get into trouble. Otherwise, they might not even have dinner tonight if these peerless supervisors found an excuse. Although it was fine if they didn't eat for hundreds of years at their peak, after their power was sealed, they were actually weaker than ordinary dragons. Like mortals, they would be hungry every day. The feeling of hunger was simply so painful that they wanted to die. They were unwilling to accept it anymore. Alright, line up one by one and follow me to the farmland. Don't embarrass me, or you'll all have to bear the consequences today. Seeing the group of dragons fear, the Fae became even more arrogant. Yes, these bandit dragons were very unwilling, but they had no other choice. They had no choice but to lower their heads under the eaves. As ordinary dragons, they were actually able to resist the other party. All of them followed him obediently and obeyed his orders. Among them, there were also a few unruly bandit dragons who tried to resist, but they were also discovered by Fae, 9-headed lion, and baleful crow demon bird. After being taught a lesson, all of them became extremely obedient. As the saying goes, evil people need to be tortured by evil people. Not bad, it seems like letting these primordial descendants be supervisors was the right choice. The green ox also sensed this scene and felt very satisfied. Originally, it wanted to personally manage the group of slave dragons, but after careful consideration, it decided to hand it over to the group of primordial species. They were slaves to begin with. If they became overseers, they would definitely work harder to manage these slaves. This was why traders were sometimes fiercer than their enemies. Clearly, this group of giant dragons was also obediently managed by the primordial species. A spiritual field. The 3 primordial species, Fae, baleful crow demon bird, and 9-headed lion, were leisurely supervising the group of giant dragons. They shouted loudly and frequently scolded the group of giant dragons, causing them to jump up and down in anger, but they could do nothing about it. The feeling of being a supervisor is so great. Previously, those giant dragons were so arrogant and even looked down on us, the primordial species. Now they are still obedient. Faye said proudly. But how did these giant dragons appear? Didn't they say that the giant dragons had long been extinct in the universe and wouldn't appear easily? How did that guy find them? Baleful Crow Demon Bird said with a little doubt. Previously, I asked these giant dragons. It seems that they are all giant dragons from the dragon world. Nine-headed lion said in a deep voice. Damn, this bastard actually went to the dragon world to cause trouble and even captured a group of giant dragons as slaves. Isn't he afraid of piercing the sky? If the dragon race knows about this, he will definitely be in serious trouble. Faye could not help but shiver for a while. Everyone knew how terrifying the dragon race was. It was one of the top races in the universe. If the dragon race came out in full force, they would definitely destroy the universe. That fellow is truly audacious. There is nothing he can't do. Besides, these are not ordinary dragons. They are all dragons that have reached the sempiternal realm at the very least. In fact, some of them are even primordial dragons that have comprehended the laws of time. Nine-headed lion said, Medial dragons? Hearing this, both Faye and baleful crow demon bird swallowed a mouthful of saliva and could not help but shiver. Even among the primordial species, this kind of strength was equivalent to the combat power of an ancestor. According to their previous status, they were not even qualified to meet. But now, they were extremely arrogant towards these saint-tier giant dragons, beating and scolding them. Just thinking about it made them feel excited. This was like a beggar beating up a prince. It was really unbelievable. Damn, this Wu Wuti is really becoming more and more monstrous. He can even easily capture medial dragons. Those saint-tier dragons are like ants to him. How strong is he now? Faye knew that Wu Wuti was not even a sage in the past. At most, he was on par with them. But now, only a short period of time had passed, and he could actually capture medial dragons as his slaves. If this matter were to spread, it would definitely shock the entire universe. Not only did he capture them, but he can also completely seal the power of these giant dragons and reduce them to ordinary dragons. This kind of method is simply unheard of. It seems that we will not be able to escape in this lifetime. Baleful crow demon bird originally wanted to find an opportunity to leave this prison-like world, but now that Wu Wuti was getting stronger and stronger, they had even less of a chance. We don't have to leave. Maybe we can still curry favor with that human and find an opportunity to advance to the sage level. Nine-headed lion's eyes flickered. Do you still have any dignity as a primordial species? How dare you still want to curry favor with that human? Faye said disdainfully. Dignity is nothing. Can it make me an immortal and indestructible sage? If this goes on, we will at most die after living for a few 100,000 years. We will still be a pile of dust in the universe. The nine-headed lion sneered. Now that there is such a big golden coattail, instead of hugging it, we want to run away. Isn't that stupid? Moreover, it is not shameful to submit to such an expert. Hearing this, the two primordial species, Fae and baleful crow demon bird, were speechless. For primordial species, there was only one main rule, and that was, the strong were respected. If it was the previous Wu Wuti, he would not be qualified to make them recognize him as their master. However, the current Wu Wuti had exceeded their imagination and become a super expert in the universe. It was not shameful to submit to such a person. In fact, countless weak races in the universe wanted to seek the protection of sages, but they could not do so. Chapter 2432. Several days later, led by the fate dragon Betty, Xia Ping finally arrived at White Dragon City after a long journey. A majestic white city appeared in front of him. It had towering walls and was bustling with activity. Countless dragons were going in and out of the city. From afar, the city looked like a white palace from a fairy tale, exuding an extraordinary charm. The Dragon of Destiny, Betty, and the other young dragons exclaimed in surprise as they widened their eyes. It seemed like they had never seen such a bustling city before. All of them were like country bumpkins. Just as Xia Ping was about to enter White Dragon City, he suddenly sensed a telepathic message. It seemed that Yi Mengyao had woken up from her closed-door cultivation for a long time and was looking for him. With a whoosh, he immediately formed a clone and entered the space of the Pearl of Mountains and Rivers, arriving in front of Yi Mengyao. After consuming the immortal fruit, Yi Mengyao's injuries had all healed. Even her magic power had improved by leaps and bounds, reaching the peak of the sempiternal realm middle stage. Moreover, she would probably reach the peak of the sempiternal realm soon. The energy contained in the immortal fruit was definitely a wondrous fruit that one could only dream of. It seems that your injuries have recovered well. Xia Ping nodded. It's all thanks to your immortal fruit. As expected of a wondrous fruit, the immortal energy it contains is simply unimaginable. If you relied on hard cultivation, you might not be able to reach this level even after tens of millions of years. Yi Mengyao sighed, but just by eating one of these fruits, it actually saved me so many years of bitter cultivation. This is really unimaginable. She finally understood why sempiternal realm sages would often venture into secret realms in the universe. Just cultivating alone would take a lot of time and effort. However, if one went on an adventure and obtained a fortuitous encounter, they would immediately improve by leaps and bounds, just like how she had obtained the immortal fruit and spatial fruit from Xia Ping. When she reached the peak of the immortal realm and consumed another spatial fruit, there was a high chance that she would reach the near-ancient realm sages and completely comprehend the laws of space. By the way, why couldn't I find you in this world? Where did you go? Yi Mengyao asked curiously. I've reached the dragon realm. Xia Ping said. It can't be. You really arrived in the dragon realm, and you weren't discovered by the old antiques of the dragon realm? Yi Mengyao was extremely shocked when she heard this. She didn't dare to believe what she had just heard. There had been some almighty beings from the human race who had tried to enter the dragon realm in the past, but all of them had been driven away by the patriarchs of the dragon realm, and some of them had even almost died at their hands. One could imagine how difficult it was to sneak into the dragon world. From ancient times until now, she had never heard of such a thing. Perhaps she was ignorant, but no matter what, it was an incredible thing. Of course it's true. You can totally leave the space of the mountain River Pearl and come to the dragon realm to take a look. Xia Ping smiled. Can we really go to the dragon world? Hearing this, Yi Mengyao's beautiful eyes lit up. In fact, she was also very curious about the dragon realm. After all, it was a legendary world that contained endless mysteries. Not many people in the entire universe could enter it. If there was a chance, she would definitely not miss it. But I'm a human, and there are dragons everywhere in the dragon world. Will my identity be in big trouble? Yi Mengyao frowned. She was worried that her identity might be exposed. In fact, it was the same principle in the human world. If a dragon appeared in the human world, it would definitely cause a huge commotion. And if a human appeared in the dragon realm, it would definitely arouse the curiosity of many dragons. This was like a firefly in the dark. It was impossible to ignore. That's not a problem. I can let you have the power and aura of a dragon. I guarantee that no dragon will be able to discover your true body. Xia Ping touched his chin. He grabbed with his hand and immediately activated the immemorial heavenly dragon talisman on his body. In an instant, a heavenly dragon talisman was condensed, emitting a dark cloud of dragon might and energy. With a boom, the golden heavenly dragon talisman immediately entered Yi Mengyao's body. What? Yi Mengyao's beautiful eyes immediately widened. She was shocked to find that her body had undergone earth-shaking changes. From the depths of her body, waves of immemorial heavenly dragon energy surged out, as if even her blood had merged with the blood of the heavenly dragon. Her body was strengthening at a geometrical speed, as though she had transformed into the body of a heavenly dragon. At the same time, two curved dragon horns appeared on her head. Even her pupils had transformed into the vertical pupils of a heavenly dragon. Even if the primordial sages of the dragon race appeared in this place, they would not be able to detect Yi Mengyao's true body. In fact, this was one of the innate abilities of the immemorial heavenly dragon talisman. It could condense 3,000 immemorial heavenly dragon talismans and fuse them into the bodies of countless living beings, giving them the bloodline, strength, and aura of the immemorial heavenly dragon. As long as other living beings had the immemorial heavenly dragon talisman in their bodies, they could transform into a dragon. Xia Ping had relied on the power of the immemorial heavenly dragon talisman to hide from the prying eyes of the other dragons, as well as the monitoring of the dragon realm's will. Alright, now that you have the body of a dragon, you can appear in the dragon realm. There's no need to worry about being monitored by the dragon realm's will. Xia Ping was very satisfied with his means. Such means are indeed impressive. Yi Mengyao was shocked. She finally understood why Xia Ping could easily sneak into the dragon realm. Just this method alone was enough to hide from the dragon race's ancestors. If she hadn't experienced it herself, she probably wouldn't have imagined that there was a way to transform others into heavenly dragons. Such a change could not be seen through even by sages. Oh right, there's something I need to tell you. In order to avoid my identity being exposed in this world, I used a fake name, Master Mutato. Don't be silly and say my real name. Xia Ping reminded. Master Mutato. Yi Mengyao looked at Xia Ping suspiciously. Why did this guy use a fake name all day? Could it be that he did something bad not long after coming to the dragon realm and was worried about being chased by the dragon race's ancestors? To be honest, it was not like Xia Ping not to cause trouble. Without waiting for her to think too much, Xia Ping waved his hand and produced a spatial fluctuation. Yi Mingyao's figure flashed and immediately left the space of the mountain river pearl and appeared on the land of the dragon realm. Wow, female dragon, there's an unfamiliar adult female dragon here. Fate Dragon Betty immediately noticed Yi Mengyao and couldn't help but yell, revealing a hostile look. The other young dragons were also very curious. They didn't know where this female dragon came from. Invisible Dragon Kalida blinked her eyes. She could sense that this female dragon appeared from Xia Ping's body. It seemed to have opened some powerful spatial treasure. Therefore, she was not worried that this female dragon was her enemy. Chapter 2433. Master Mutato, where did you abduct so many young dragons? As soon as she arrived in the dragon realm, Yi Mengyao immediately saw a group of little lowly dragons and little boy dragons around her. The corner of her mouth couldn't help but twitch. She had a bad feeling in her heart. How long has this bastard been in the dragon realm? He actually abducted a group of young dragons. She also suddenly remembered the first time she met this bastard. This guy even used a fake name, Wu Wudi. He cheated her sister and a group of children of money. It was simply infuriating. Now this guy wants to do the same thing again. The question is, where did he abduct so many young dragons? Don't their parents care about him? What abduction? These young dragons were all rescued by me. Xia Ping recounted what had happened. So that's how it is. It seems that I really misunderstood you. I didn't expect you to be a dragon with the little conscience. Yi Mengyao nodded. What do you mean you didn't expect me to be a dragon with the little conscience? In your eyes, what am I? Xia Ping felt that Yi Mengyao might have a great misunderstanding about him. Hee. Yi Mengyao felt that she didn't want to speak. Didn't she know what this guy did? Female dragon, what is your relationship with this adult dragon? Are you the concubine of this adult dragon? At this time, Fate Dragon Betty could see that this female dragon should not be an enemy, but the adult dragon's woman. That's right, Betty, you are very smart and have a good eye. She is indeed one of my concubines. Xia Ping hugged Yi Mingyao's slender waist and said, You. Yi Mingyao's pretty face turned red, but she couldn't refute because if she wanted to walk in the dragon realm, she needed a more reasonable identity. This couldn't be separated from Xia Ping's help. Hee, scum dragon, you are actually one of the concubines. How many female dragons have you married? Fate Dragon Betty looked at Xia Ping with disdain. Children don't care so much. Go play. Xia Ping waved his hand. Fate Dragon Betty rolled her eyes and said, If you tell me, I can give you a dragon crystal. If you say one, I will give you a dragon crystal. What do you think? Go away. Do I look like a dragon that is lacking tens of thousands of dragon crystals? Xia Ping chuckled to show that he was rich and overbearing. Scum dragon. Fate Dragon Betty, Memory Dragon Mabel, Formless Dragon Kalida, Cloud Dream Dragon Tadish, and the other female dragons all looked at Xia Ping with disdain, as though they were looking at a cockroach on the ground. As for the gluttonous dragon Austin, the time dragon Caesar, the slow dragon whales, and the other male dragons, they all looked at Xia Ping with admiration as if he was their idol. All right, stop arguing. Let's hurry into White Dragon City. I'm starving. Xia Ping waved his hand and immediately led the group of dragon whelps into White Dragon City. It was easy to enter White Dragon City. There was no need to verify one's identity. All one had to do was pay a dragon crystal and register one's identity. Then one could enter and leave White Dragon City at will. White Dragon City was quite prosperous, and all sorts of antique shops appeared. They sold medicinal pills and spirit medicines that could only be found in the dragon world, and there were also many restaurants that sold dragon race delicacies. There were also many different kinds of dragons and subdragons on the streets. However, they were all in human form, with dragon horns on their heads. After all, if they were in their true form, each of them would be extremely huge. Not many cities would be able to contain them. For convenience, they all chose to transform. The technology here is quite advanced. Xia Ping glanced around and found that there were many maglev trains, maglev cars, spaceships, and other cosmic technologies around White Dragon City. There were also all sorts of engineering robots building walls and shops. It was full of sci-fi. He even found that many dragons had logged into the virtual network and seemed to be able to communicate over long distances. Although the dragon race rarely comes into contact with the outside world, it's not like they don't. Yi Mengyao spoke with her divine sense, telling him what she knew. It said that the dragon race is very interested in the technology of humans and machines, so they used many precious dragon race resources in exchange for all sorts of technology. Although they seem very closed off and like to shut themselves off from the world, in reality, their pursuit of new technology is no less than ours. Of course, there's also a rumor. It said that the dragon race was very closed back then and didn't want to come into contact with the outside world. However, the famous dragon race scientist Titania is said to be one of the smartest beings in the universe. She's very interested in these things and tried her best to import them. She spent billions of years mastering all kinds of top biological technology, material technology, intelligent technology, and so on. Titania? Xia Ping's expression was strange. He realized that many things in the universe were related to this mad scientist, and the dragon realm was also greatly affected by Titania. Even though she was wanted by the entire universe, her influence did not decrease at all. However, although science and technology were hard to come by, it wasn't too difficult for the highly intelligent WNs to learn it if they really wanted to. After all, they had a long lifespan and had plenty of time to learn this kind of knowledge. If 1 year was not enough, they would learn 10 years. If 10 years was not enough, they would learn 100 years. If 100 years was not enough, they would learn 10,000 years. In short, with the accumulation of time, their technology could reach an extremely high level. If you really want to understand the Dragon Realm thoroughly, you need to log into the Dragon Realm's virtual network. There will definitely be a lot of information about the Dragon Realm on the network. Yi Mingyao's beautiful eyes flashed with incomparable enthusiasm. It's best for us to buy the virtual network equipment of the Dragon Realm so that we can understand this world more easily. However, the Dragon Realm is a complete world and definitely has its own currency system. Our currency can't be used here. I wonder if you have any way to solve this? She looked at Xia Ping eagerly. Don't worry, I don't have much else, but I have a lot of dragon crystals on me. Xia Ping patted his chest. He had just robbed the Black Wind stronghold and robbed this famous bandit group. He had taken tens of millions of dragon crystals from their treasure vault. Just these dragon crystals alone were enough for him to live a luxurious life in the Dragon Realm. It would not be a problem for him to be a local tycoon. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. It's almost dark. After saying this, Yi Mengyao immediately dragged Xia Ping to a nearby shop that sold virtual network equipment. She wanted to understand the world of the Dragon Realm as soon as possible. Destiny Dragon Betty and the other young dragons also looked at each other excitedly because they had long been interested in this famous virtual network equipment, but they had never been able to get it. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.